Back at Game 7, Jack Morris completing his warm-up tosses. The umpires, the same as for Game 1. Don Dinkinger behind the plate. Harry Wendelstedt at first. Drew Coble at second. Terry Tata will be at third. Down the left field line, it's American League umpire Rick Reed. Ed Montague down the right field line. Pete Van Wieren, it has been a good year for everybody in the Braves organization from top to bottom. It's amazing that we're sitting here this time in October enjoying the 7th game of the World Series, and they've talked about what a great job the players have done. May I say I have enjoyed the year with you. You have done a great job. It's been a pleasure. Now kick off Game 7 and let's win it.
Okay, thank you very much, Don. Likewise, I've enjoyed this season more than any other season I've ever worked in this game, and enjoyed having you alongside us for a 3rd consecutive year. And how special has this World Series been? Well, we asked Vin Scully before the game, who's been doing World Series since back in the early 50s, how this compares with the other World Series that he's done. He says he can think of only one other that had more excitement for him, and that was when the 1955 Brooklyn Dodgers finally beat the Yankees. In fact, said Vin Scully, he has never kept cassettes of games that he's done in World Series play, but he's keeping them this year because of the crowds. He wants to have a permanent record of the noise level here at the Dome and of the war chant in Atlanta. Well, here's Lonnie Smith. The first pitch of Game 7 is on the way, and it's inside and high, ball 1. Lonnie 4 for 22 in the series. 3 of those 4 hits homers, all of them solo homers. And Jack Morris winding the 1-0 pitch on the way to Lonnie Smith. He takes a strike. Breaking ball inside corner. It's 1-1. Terry Pendleton on deck, then Ronnie Gant. Game 7 of the World Series, the ultimate game to play in. Harper gives the sign. And the 1-1 coming. Taken high. It's 2-1 now on Lonnie Smith. We always talk about scoring early and how important it can be. It may be the most important element of tonight's game. Who gets on the board first? Here's the 2-1 pitch. There's a high pop fly, shallow into right field. Shane Mack coming in, now drifting back. He's under it. He's got it. 1 down. Lonnie Smith flies to right, 1 away, and now Terry Pendleton.
Boy, Pete, I think you hit it right on the head. It is going to be important to establish momentum in your side of the field, because the Braves are playing 3 opponents. The Twins are only playing 2. The Twins are playing the 7th game of the World Series and the Braves. The Braves are playing the 7th game of the World Series, the Twins, the Homer Dome, and the crowd. Now scoring first and doing something to excite the Braves dugout will take the crowd out of play.
Here's Terry Pendleton, who after a slow start has really turned out to be one of the stars in this series. 10 for 25, a .400 batting average. He has a couple of home runs and 3 RBIs, and he takes the first pitch low and outside, ball 1. Braves will leave right after this game on a Delta charter. They'll be arriving in Atlanta around 3:30 in the morning, and they will walk through Concourse B for any fans who show up to greet them. Next pitch to Pendleton is fouled away off to the left. 1 ball, 1 strike. And we'll be repeating that information later on in the broadcast. We're sure, win or lose, the best fans in baseball will be there at that early hour. One man out, base is empty. A count of a ball and a strike on Terry Pendleton. Here's the line by Morris, and the 1-1 pitch on the way. Bouncing ball toward first, fielded by Herbeck. He runs to the bag in plenty of time. 2 down. So Morris has gotten the first 2 Braves in order, and that'll bring up center fielder Ronnie Gant.
Although the first 2 have made outs, Pete, they've already shown they're following the scouting report on Morris. They're taking the pitches that are down low. They forced him to bring the ball up in the strike zone. They just haven't been able to hit it squarely.
Ronnie Gant 8 for 26 in the World Series. No home runs and 4 runs driven in. 2 men out, base is empty. The wind by Morris, the pitch on the way to Gant. He takes it inside, ball 1. Morris 18 and 12 during the regular season with an earned run average of 3.43. 3-0 lifetime in World Series play. Now a 1-0 pitch on the way to Gant. He takes it low. 2-0 the count. David Justice on deck. 343 down the left field line, 408 to straight center field, 327 down the right field line here at the Metrodome. Morris is ready. His 2-0 pitch on the way to Gant, and there's a bouncing ball foul down the third base side. The count on Gant, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Gant's talking to himself right now. 2-0, hitters count. He wanted a pitch on the inner half, but Morris got him to chase one that was out away from him. The best he could do was pull it foul.
Sign given by Harper. And the 2-1 coming to Gant now. He tried to stop his swing, could not. It's 2-2. Morris trying to record a 1-2-3 inning. And now the noise level will increase rapidly as a 2-strike pitch is on the way to Ronnie Gant. Here comes the 2-2 from Morris. Swung on, missed, strike 3, and Morris gets the Braves 1-2-3 in the top half of the first inning. After a half inning in Game 7, no score. Winning pitcher when the Braves clinched the National League West title, beating the Houston Astros. He was the winning pitcher in Game 7 of the National League Championship Series against the Pittsburgh Pirates, posting a shutout, and now he tries to become the winning pitcher in Game 7 of the World Series, all in the same year. John Smoltz.
And he's living a dream that he said he had as a little kid, envisioning the chance to win the 7th game of the World Series. And Pete, there's not a better place in the world you could be tonight than right out there in the center of that diamond. It's a reward for a great year and a lot of long years of hard work for all of these guys.
And here are the guys who are standing out on that diamond right now. Defensively for Atlanta, Brian Hunter in left, Ronnie Gant in center, David Justice in right, Terry Pendleton at third, Rafael Belliard at short, Mark Lemke at second, Sid Bream at first, Greg Olson behind the plate, John Smoltz on the mound. In his only other World Series outing, he worked 7 innings, allowed 7 hits, 2 runs, didn't walk anybody, struck out 7. Was not involved in the decision. Dan Gladden, Chuck Knobloch, and Kirby Puckett due up here in the bottom half of the first for Minnesota. Gladden, a right-hand hitting left fielder, just 4 for 25 in the series with no homers or RBIs.
First inning, the key inning for John Smoltz. If he has everything under control, emotions all harnessed, Braves will put the ball in the right hand.
He gets his first sign from Greg Olson, and the pitch on the way to Dan Gladden. A swing and a miss, 0-1. Braves went 1-2-3 in the top of the first.
There's a good key right there. He started off Gladden with a breaking ball, and it was a nasty one. Almost anybody can handle a fastball, but it's the other pitches that you have to get command of early.
Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way. Fastball misses high, and the count even on Dan Gladden. 1 ball, 1 strike. Outfield has been shading Gladden as an opposite field hitter this entire series. They're in that same position tonight. The 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss at a breaking ball. The count 1-2 now on Dan Gladden.
Usually leadoff hitters don't see as many breaking balls as other people in the lineup because they know that you don't want to walk them, so they almost always expect to get a fastball to hit on the first or the second pitch. Smoltz has gone against it, and he's got 2 quick strikes doing it.
He has the sign from Olson. Here's the line with the big right-hander, and the 1-2 pitch on the way. It's popped foul out of play right side up into the seats. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Smoltz pitching on 3 days rest. Somebody asked him about that after yesterday's game. He said, I could pitch on 1 day's rest for Game 7 of the World Series. You've got all winter to rest now.
As long as you don't have to do it 5 or 6 times, Pete, I don't think that's that big a deal. Too much is made out of it. You just have to cut back on your workload between the starts.
Now the line and the 1-2 pitch on the way to Gladden. Swung on, missed, strike 3. And there's the first out in the bottom half of the first inning as Smoltz strikes out Gladden. And that'll bring up second baseman Chuck Knobloch. Knobloch's had a good series, .318 batting average, 7 for 22. No homers, a couple of RBIs. He's also had a good defensive series. One out and the base is empty here in the bottom half of the first inning. Knobloch, a right-hand hitter. Here's the line and the pitch on the way from Smoltz. It's taken for a strike in the inside corner, 0-1. The look in by Smoltz. And the 0-1 pitch on the way to Knobloch. He swings. It's a high pop fly into shallow right center field. Lemke back, Gant in, Justice in. Justice makes the catch. And that's out number 2. Here in the bottom half of the first inning. That'll bring up Kirby Puckett. Wait till you hear the ovation for him. They were literally dancing in the streets of downtown Minneapolis after Kirby Puckett hit that dramatic 11th inning home run yesterday to win it for the Twins.
That's about all you could do. None of the cars were moving. I didn't particularly enjoy that 6-block walk, did you?
No, I didn't. I felt sort of out of place. The only thing I could think of was that old George Gobel line, the whole world's a tuxedo and you're a pair of brown shoes. That's just what you felt like. Here's Kirby Puckett stepping in and swinging and missing in a breaking ball from Smoltz, 0-1. Kirby Puckett 6 for 22 now in the series, a .273 average. The home run was his second, and he has driven in 4 runs in this World Series. Like Terry Pendleton, his bat very quiet over the first 3 or 4 games, but really waking up the last couple. Swung on, missed at the breaking ball, and Smoltz quickly ahead in the count, 0-2. So like Jack Morris, John Smoltz trying for a 1-2-3 first inning. Olsen gives the sign. Here's the wind by Smoltz, and the 0-2 pitch on the way. A changeup hit on one hop right back to the mound. Smoltz drops it, picks it up now, throws to first in time. And the Twins go 1-2-3, as did the Braves. We've completed 1 in Game 7. Our score, Atlanta 0, Minnesota 0. Top half of inning 2, no score from the Metrodome. Pete Van Wieren, Don Sutton, Skip Caray, and Dave O'Brien will be along a little later. David Justice, Sid Bream, and Brian Hunter due up against Jack Morris. Justice hitting .250 in this World Series, 6 for 24, a couple of home runs, 6 RBIs. What a roller coaster ride the postseason has been for David Justice. He has done some heroic things, 5 RBIs in 1 game in this World Series, just 1 shy of the World Series record. It's the first pitch in the air, shallow center field, coming hard. Puckett's going to have to play it on the hop. David Justice has a leadoff single here in the top half of inning 2.
And the Twin center fielder got burned by his own fan support. Kirby Puckett lost that in the Homer Hankies, and it took him just a second to pick it up, and before he could, the ball had dropped in for a base hit.
So Atlanta has the first base runner of Game 7, a leadoff single here in the top of the second by David Justice, and here's Sid Bream. Sid's had a tough time offensively in this series. 3 out of 20, a .150 batting average with no RBIs. All of that would be forgotten with a big Game 7. Here's the stretch in the pitch, and Bream takes it low and outside, ball 1.
You're seeing the Braves take a lot of first pitches off of Morris this time around.
And that was not the case in the first game. We saw a little bit of it in the second game. So this third time around, a little different approach by Braves hitters against Morris. Throws to first, Justice back safely.
Well, he's not Superman, Pete. He gave up 226 hits in 246 innings. He walked 92, so he had about 330 base runners in 246 innings.
Nobody out. Justice the runner at first. Here's the stretch by Morris. Long look toward first. A 1-0 pitch on the way to Bream. He hits one foul down the left side. And the count even, 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, finally, we are on the road with the Atlanta Braves in postseason, and we do know where we're going after this game. Home. Here's the stretch, the look toward first. And the 1-1 pitch. Low and inside, 2-1 the count. Brian Hunter waiting on deck.
You think at home that we're going to have to be given our choices on menus for dinner? I'm not used to not ordering anything off of a menu.
It has been quite a ride, this whole experience. Throw goes to first. Close play. Justice just did make it back. Count remaining, 2 balls, 1 strike on Sid Bream. Looks down at third base coach Jimmy Williams for signs. Again, Morris comes to the belt. There goes the runner. The pitch to Bream. Little chopper toward second. Knobloch has it. Thought about going to second, but had no play there. Goes on to first in time to get Bream. So the Braves play hit and run. They get Justice into scoring position with 1 out. And here comes Brian Hunter.
Braves caught a break there. Because Justice was moving, Knobloch tried to wheel and throw to second, and he didn't have a good grip on the ball. Shows a lot of poise for a rookie. He didn't try to force it. He said, okay, I'm going to take it out. And he took the one at first. Hunter playing left field, 3 for 17 with a homer and 3 RBIs in the World Series.
His homer came in that 14-5 shellacking of the Twins in Atlanta in Game 5. Here's the stretch, the look back at second, the pitch on the way, taken low and outside, ball one. Now, unlike John Smoltz, who got ahead of every hitter in the first inning, Morris in this game has fallen behind every hitter. Justice down at second, getting his lead. Here's the stretch by Morris. And a 1-0 pitch on the way. Hunter swings, line drive down the left field line, just foul. And again, all the questions that we hear, and we've heard this question asked 1,000 times a day, it seems. What's the mood of the team? The mood of this team is no different than it has been all season long. They are focused on tonight's game. They don't feel bad about They feel bad about last night's loss, but they weren't shellacked last night. They weren't handcuffed by pitching. They had some poor luck offensively, a lot of line drives that just missed going into the seats for a home run or down the line for an extra base hit. Some were caught by infielders. One was caught by Kirby Puckett up against the wall in a memorable World Series catch. So they didn't walk away from that game feeling that, well, their heads hanging, really.
Well, I thought they were arguing just a little bit more in their card game in the clubhouse in there. That was the big objective. Let's get to the park early. We didn't finish our card game yesterday.
1 ball, 1 strike the count. The look back and the 1-1 pitch. Inside with a fastball, 2-1.
Well, we've used this scenario over and over. It's not like the Braves are trying to do it, but it's almost like all year long they really haven't been comfortable till they've been in a situation where they were given very little chance of succeeding.
Down at second, Justice gets his lead. Morris takes a look back. The pitch on the way, fouled back. And the count even on Brian Hunter, 2-2. Somebody went back and looked, and since September 13th, the Braves have seemingly been in a do-or-die position every single day, with the exception of the final day of the regular season after the division had been clinched, and that meaningless game was played against Houston to conclude the season. Since then, playoff pressure, World Series pressure. Before then, pennant drive pressure. Here's the stretch, the 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on, missed at the fastball, strike 3. Morris records his second strikeout. 2 men are out here in the top half of the second. Before Greg Olson hits, we'll pause for station identification on the Atlanta Braves radio network.
Kofer Brothers in Tucker salutes the miraculous Atlanta Braves. Go Braves! AM 750 WSB, Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic station.
Here's Greg Olson. He is 6 for 23 in the World Series. He's driven in 1 run. A runner at second, 2 outs. Morris comes to the belt. And the pitch on the way to Olson. He swings and pops one foul. Back out of play. 0-1. 2 men out, no score. Top half of inning 2. Justice, the runner at second. The stretch and the pitch coming. Olson swings. It's a high pop fly right side of the infield. Second baseman Chuck Knobloch waving everybody off. He's under it. He's got it. And that's it for Atlanta in the second. No runs, 1 hit. The runner left at second. At the end of an inning and a half in Game 7, the Braves nothing and the Twins nothing. No scores. We go to the bottom half of inning 2. Ken Hrbek, Chili Davis, and Brian Harper do up against John Smoltz. Ken Hrbek has not had a good World Series at the plate. Just 3 for 23, a 130 average with a homer and a couple of RBIs. This situation amazingly similar to that of 1987's World Series when the Cardinals played the Minnesota Twins. And the same thing happened. The Twins won the first 2 in Minnesota. They went to St. Louis. The Cardinals won the next 3. Kent Hrbek hit the big home run in Game 6 to give the Twins the win. And then the Twins won Game 7 here at home. They have never lost a World Series game at home. First pitch to Hrbek is inside, ball 1. Now the 1-0 pitch coming. Low and inside with a breaking ball. 2-0, the count on Hrbek. The line by Smoltz. The 2-0 pitch on the way. Hrbek swings. Looping fly ball. Shallow right field. Coming in is Justice. He's there. He's got it. And that's 4 in a row. Retired now by Smoltz. 1 out in the bottom of the second. Chili Davis will be the batter.
Boy, he's making some good pitches, Pete, as you pointed out, pitching ahead in the count. But even when he's gotten behind or gotten even in the count, as he did there to Hrbek, He hasn't come back with something right down the middle as we might have seen him do the first half. Right on the inside corner, a pitch that would have been a strike even if he hadn't swung.
Chili Davis, the designated hitter, is 3 for 14, couple of home runs, 4 RBIs in this World Series. Switch hitter batting left-handed against Smoltz. The line and the pitch on the way to Chili Davis, fouled back off the screen, 0-1. They've already announced the paid attendance for this final game of 1991, 55,118. A complete sellout here at the Metrodome. The line by Smoltz, the 0-1 pitch on the way, and there's a high pop foul on a play left side. Smoltz quickly ahead in the count on Chili Davis, 0-2. Brian Harper waiting in the on-deck circle. The line and the 0-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball missed high, and the count 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Interesting defensive alignment. They expect him to pull Smoltz's breaking stuff. The infield is shaded to pull, but the outfield thinks he can't get around on John's fastball.
Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball got him inside corner. Strike 3 called. Smoltz has retired 5 in a row. He has just recorded his second strikeout. 2 outs in the bottom of the second. Here comes the catcher, Brian Harper. Harper 6 out of 17 with 1 RBI in this World Series. Smoltz winds. The first pitch on the way. Harper takes low and away. Ball 1.
John Smoltz caught a break tonight, Pete, in the umpires rotation. Don Dinkinger, of the umpires that are from the American League, Dinkinger, Cobo, and Reed, is the only one who is a National League style umpire who will call the low breaking ball.
Here's the 1-0 pitch right in there for a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. We want to compliment the umpires for the series they've had. There have been a couple of calls that have been disputed, but nothing major. Except for that Drew Coble incident in Game 2 with Herbeck and Ronnie Gant. That was about the biggest rhubarb we've had. The pitch was fouled back. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, the umpiring rotation now for the League Championship Series and the World Series is based on merit now, isn't it?
Yes, it used to be just a rotation thing where everybody would get their chance. Not any longer.
And that's only right. The best should be where the best are playing.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Harper. Here's the line and the 1-2 on the way. Line drive back up the middle into center field for a base hit. And the Minnesota Twins have their first base runner of this 7th game of the 91 World Series. A 2-out single to center by Brian Harper. And that will bring up the right fielder, Shane Mack. Mack had gone 0 for 15 in the World Series, was benched in Game 5, but came back yesterday to go 2 for 4. He had a single, a double, and an RBI. So he's now 2 out of 19. Right-hand batter.
I didn't see any difference in his swing, though. It was just for the first time he was getting some pitches that were very hittable. The Braves have, for lack of a better explanation, almost knocked the bat out of his hands with high fastballs.
And the first pitch, swing and a miss. 0-1 the count on Shane Mack, a right-hand batter. Tom Kelly's managerial approach to getting hitters out of slumps, a little bit interesting. After the game yesterday, he was being asked about Kirby Puckett breaking out of his slump. Shane Mack breaking out of his. Tom Kelly said, I didn't say a word to Kirby Puckett. We knew, and he knows, that he would snap out of it sooner or later. He said, I had Shane Mack, though, look at some videotapes of when he was going good. The 0-1 pitch, a fastball, he laid off it. It was high, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, there you can see some similarities in the personalities of the two managers involved. Both of them are definitely players, managers. Bobby Cox would, if his knees permitted, throw batting practice like Tom Kelly does. And they're the guys that kind of don't like the spotlight. They like to be out with the players.
Here's the stretch by Smoltz. The 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss of a slider. The count 1-2. The on-deck hitter, Mike Pagliarulo. Over at first, Harper gets his lead. Here's the stretch and the pitch on the way. It's outside. Shane Mack held up 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 men out. Harper, the runner at first in a scoreless game. Bottom half of inning 2. The look in by Smoltz. Here's his stretch. And the 2-2 pitch coming. Bouncing ball up the middle. Is going to get through at his center field. Base hit. Harper rounding second. He'll hold on there as the throw comes to third. And the Twins have something going here. Runners first and second with 2 men out. And third baseman Mike Pagliarulo stepping in. Back-to-back singles by Harper and Mack. Pagliarulo 3 for 8 in the series. He has a homer and 2 RBIs.
Both those base hits on pretty good pitches, though. Both of them on breaking balls, so no reason for John to do anything any differently than he's doing all along. You can't guide the ball into an infielder's glove. You can only make the pitch over and over that you think will get the hitter out.
Here's Pagliarulo, runners first and second, 2 men out. Smoltz comes set. And the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball. The count 0-1.
For some reason, this is the one guy in their lineup that scares me tonight. If you can get your breaking stuff over, you could have him eating out of your hand. But like we said about other hitters all year long, if you pitch behind in the count to Pagliarulo, he seldom misses his pitch.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fastball missed a little bit high. And the count even. 1 ball, 1 strike. The runners get their leads. Mack off first, Harper off second. Here's the 1-1 on the way. Taken low. Ball 2, 2-1. Greg Gagne, the on-deck hitter. Ron Goddenhire coaches third for Minnesota. Wayne Terwilliger, the coach at first. Here's the stretch by Smoltz. The 2-1 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball. 2-2. And he did not give in behind in the count, did he, Don?
No, he did not. He threw him another breaking ball that was a good one, like we said to Herbeck. He got behind in the count to Herbeck, but he still made a good pitch, and that's what he's doing thus far in this ball game. He's going to have to do it one more time to Pagliarulo.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The runners lead from first and second. And the 2-2 pitch on the way. Bouncing ball down the first base line. Fair, fielded by Bream. Throws to Smoltz, covering at first in time for out number 3. So Smoltz gets out of a little trouble. No runs, 2 hits. Both runners were stranded at the end of 2 in Game 7. No score. Braves nothing, Twins nothing. We go to the top of the third. No score. Mark Lemke, Rafael Belliard, then Lonnie Smith due up against Jack Morris. Lemke has had a dream series. 9 for 20, a .450 batting average, 4 RBIs, 3 triples, just 1 shy of the World Series record. And he leads off here in the third. Morris winding, and the pitch on the way to Lemke, taken for a strike in the outside corner, 0-1. One of the few times tonight that Morris has been ahead in the count on an Atlanta hitter. Now the 0-1 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss with a changeup in the count 0-2. Lemke was way off stride on that one.
Well, ahead in the count is when he does most of his damage because he goes right to that split finger fastball. He's unusual as a pitcher. He can throw at 2 or 3 different speeds.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Tried it again, missed low and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Most guys who use that as a power pitch throw it as hard as they can, then they use another changeup as an off-speed pitch. But he grips it the same way. He just slows his arm down and gives you 2 or 3 different looks at it.
Here's the line and the 1-2 pitch on the way to Lemke. Line down the left field line, but has a little slice to it. It's going to be fouled. And the count remains 1-2. No runs, 1 hit for Atlanta. No runs, 2 hits for Minnesota. Top half of inning 3. The line by Jack Morris and the 1-2 pitch on the way to Lemke. Taken just a little bit inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. This one starting out like it will be one of those dandy pitching battles. Here's the 2-2 pitch, high with a fastball. Full count now, 3-2 to Mark Lemke. 3-2 pitch on the way. Lemke swings, hits one foul on a play left side into the upper deck. It's still full, 3-2. Here's the wind by Morris. And again, the payoff pitch to Lemke. Ground ball right side, right at the second baseman, Knobloch. He's got it on the first in time. One away in the top of the third. Now Rafael Belliard. He is 5 for 14. He's had a good World Series. He's driven in 4 runs. Only David Justice has more RBIs for Atlanta in this World Series.
And as postseason play has gone along, we've seen some defensive adjustments on Belliard. They still play him swung around toward right field and the outfield, but they've started to get a little bit more legitimate look in the infield since he's pulled a couple.
And the first pitch to him is pop foul, back out of play, 0-1.
What they're giving him in the infield now is the middle of the diamond. Still in at third is Pagliarulo, but Gagne about where he would be with a normal right-handed hitter. And at second and first, they're not that dramatic swing around toward the right field line like we've seen most of the season.
One out, base is empty. Here's the one strike pitch. Ground ball right side. That's going to get between Knobloch and Herbeck into right field for a base hit. So Rafael Belliard, for the 6th time in this World Series, has himself a hit. He is 6 for 15. That's a .400 World Series batting average for little Rafael Belliard.
And just by pulling a few balls, Pete, he's opened up some more hitting holes. And the holes that he's opened up are the ones that he naturally swings toward. During the middle of the season, the way the defensive alignments were, that's an out.
So runner at first now. That's the second hit off Jack Morris. One man out, back to the top of the order now. Lonnie Smith, he flied to right his first time. Trying to become the first player in Major League Baseball history to play for 4 different winning World Series cities. First pitch gets away from Harper. It was taken inside. No throw as Rafael Belliard advances down to second base.
Probably going to score that, a pass ball. It wasn't that far inside. He should have made the catch.
Almost a strike, in fact. Just ticked off the edge of the glove of Brian Harper, and that is the scoring, a pass ball. So Rafael Belliard advancing to second on the pass ball. One man out, a count of 1 ball, no strikes on Lonnie Smith. The look back by Morris. And the pitch on the way to Lonnie Smith, taken low, 2-0. Lonnie has World Series championship rings that say St. Louis Cardinals, Kansas City Royals, and Philadelphia Phillies. He'd like to add one more to his collection tonight. 2-0 the count. One man out. Belliard down at second. We are scoreless in the top of the third. Here's the stretch by Morris, and a 2-0 pitch on the way. It's inside. Ball 3-0. Terry Pendleton on deck.
And to win Game 7s, Pete, you need heroics like a Mazeroski, or you need to take advantage of miscues just like this, because you're not going to get that many opportunities with clubs that are as evenly matched as the Braves, and when you have 2 good pitchers on the mound. So to get a break here, it would really help put the Braves on the board first.
3 balls, 1 strike. No strikes. Here's the look back, and a 3-0 pitch on the way, and it's taken for a strike in the outside corner. Now it's 3-1. Long look in by Morris. Belliard getting a good lead down at second. Here's the stretch by the right-hander. And the 3-1 pitch on the way, taken outside, ball 4. And the Braves have runners at first and second now with one man out for Terry Pendleton. That's the first walk issued by Morris. Pendleton grounded out to first his first time. Terry facing some knee surgery a couple of days after today. I think it's Wednesday they've got the knee surgery scheduled. Arthroscopic surgery, nothing major.
There's some bits of cartilage that are floating around. Every now and then they get where the joint hinges and it locks up on him. More than once this year we've seen him in between innings getting that massage, trying to keep those chips floating.
Runners at first and second with one man out. Here's Pendleton. In fact, Dr. Joel Chandler has had to reschedule the dates of the surgery about 4 different times as the Braves kept on winning and winning down the stretch and in the playoffs, and now in the World Series in Game 7. First pitch low and outside, ball 1. But he said he didn't mind at all. First and second, one out, a count of 1-0 on Pendleton. Here's the stretch by Morris. And the 1-0 pitch on the way, fouled back off the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ronnie Gant, the on-deck hitter. Right now, this crowd very quiet. We can hear some chanting, Brave style, off in the background. And now the Minnesota crowd will drown that out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Morris working very slowly, finally coming to the set position. And the 1-1 pitch on the way, and another pop foul back into the crowd. It's 1-2 now on Pendleton.
What was the word we were given last night? That the Twins would seat groups no larger than 15 or 20 together?
Yeah, they're breaking them up a little differently than was the case the first trip in. First trip in, they had whole sections of Braves fans who got that chant going pretty well. So they've split them up into smaller blocks this time around. There are about 1,600 folks from Atlanta in attendance here at Game 7. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way, and there's a high pop fly, shallow left field. Going back, Gagne coming in, Dan Gladden. Gladden will make the catch in shallow left for out number 2. And the runners have to stay put at first and second. And that'll bring up Ronnie Gant, who was a strikeout victim in the first inning. Well, a nice little 3-run homer would silence the crowd, wouldn't it?
Would take them completely out of play. And they would finally get to put those Yankees to a good use.
And Ronnie's due to hit one. He hasn't hit one in the World Series.
Well, he didn't have any good swings the first time up, and he's gone back to what we saw him doing early in the year, pulling the top half of his body off the ball, so he's having trouble reaching anything away, and they're not giving him anything on the inner half.
The runners lead. Smith off first, Belliard off second. The pitch on the way to Ronnie Gant. Ground ball sharply hit, but right at the shortstop, Gagne flips to second. He's on for the force on Lonnie Smith, and that'll do it for Atlanta in the third. No runs, 1 hit, and the Braves left 2. He played 2.5 in Game 7. Atlanta nothing. Minnesota nothing.
It's the final game of the 1991 World Series. The Atlanta Braves and the Minnesota Twins on AM 750 WSB, the sports voice of the South. Coverage of the World Series is presented in part by Isuzu, by the U.S. Army, by Makita Power Tools, and by Ford Quality Care.
No score. It's about as closely matched as you can get it. Smoltz and Morris pitching up to expectation. Twins due to bat here in the bottom of the third, and here once again is Dave O'Brien.
All right, thank you very much, Don. Very tense sparring, as we expected it would be here in Game 7. Nothing across for either side, and Greg Gagne will lead it off against Smoltz, who, aside from giving up back-to-back singles to Harper and Mack in the second inning, has been outstanding. Gagne hitting for the first time in the game, hit .265 for the season with 8 homers and 42 RBIs, has 1 big hit in the World Series. That came in Game 1. First pitch to him right on the outside corner, tough slider for strike 1. That home run, a 3-run shot in the very first game, coming off of Charlie Lee Brink. Aside from that, he's really not done too much offensively. He's only 4 for 22. The pitch is swung on and missed, and it's 0-2. Smoltz has come out exceptionally focused. That is obvious with the way he is mixing his pitches. His breaking stuff is as sharp as it's been at any point during the regular season. He has not lost a game since August the 20th, and he looks determined not to get beat tonight. The big righty's 0-2 pitch. There's a hard hit ground ball right at the third baseman Pendleton, who fields and throws him out. 1 up and 1 down. A lot of ground balls for John Smoltz. A lot of balls hit on the ground, period.
With the stuff he's taking out there tonight, expect a lot of ground balls. His slider, his curveball has been exceptional. And what it has done is, Dave, that although maybe with 3 days rest, he might not have quite as much giddy up on his fastball as he does, it makes it appear even quicker when you have 2 good breaking pitches you can set it up with.
And boy, he is banging it on that outside corner to the right-hand hitters. Has Dan Gladden up there now, and the first pitch to him is fouled away upstairs for strike 1. Gladden fanned to start the game for Minnesota. struck out in the first. He's only 4 for 26 in the series. And the Braves have done a great job on this guy. There's something like 25, 30 games over 500 when he scores a run, but he's had 4 hitless games. He whacks another loop foul off to the right, and it's 0-2. 1 down, the bases are empty. We have no score here in the last half of the 3rd inning.
Well, they have pitched him up and in. They pitched him down and away, and you can get out Superman with that combination.
And again, an 0-2 count on a twin hitter. The kick and throw, and that's a little bit high, 1-2. Chuck Knobloch on deck. 55,118 inside the Metrodome, and they're a tad quiet. It's a nervous 55,000. The 1-2 pitch fouled away again. Again, he's late and knocks it upstairs.
We've seen him do this a lot in the series. When he's got behind in the count, he takes a little bit of a different swing, just tries to deflect the balls he knows he can't hit. And a couple of times he's battled back to draw walks. But with John's stuff, John has 3 pitches now he can throw for strikes.
Here comes the 1-2 home. Just outside. Did he go? No swing. He held up, according to first base ump Harry Wendelstedt. With the no swing, it's 2-2. Before last night, Gladden, Puckett, Herbeck, and Mack were hitting a combined 104. That's a big part of their offense. The Braves have shut down. The 2-2 delivery. Line drive, base hit down the left field line. That'll be extra bases. It's rolling to the warning track. Hunter over there to pick it up. Gladden into second base. He's got a double. A runner in scoring position for Minnesota with 1 down. Before Knobloch bats, we pause for station identification on AM 750 WSB.
Cool-Ray Heating and Air Conditioning recommends Trane's energy-wise high-efficiency gas furnaces, which will significantly lower your heating bills. Call 926-7701 for Cool-Ray Heating and Air. AM 750 WSB, Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic station.
You go through a lot of ball games, and you can have great ones and still make 12, 15 mistakes. The way you have a great one is to get away with them. John Smoltz, to this point, had faced the Twins lineup going all the way through it and only given them 2 hits, and he had only left 1 ball in the hitting area. That time to Gladden, a hanging slider, and Gladden didn't miss it.
Now the contact hitter, Chuck Knobloch, and the first pitch to him is a little bit high for ball 1. Knobloch lofted a routine fly to right field in the first inning. He's 0 for 1, but having a pretty good series. He's got 7 hits. In the American League Championship, he had 7, so his 14 are a new rookie record for the postseason. Kirby Puckett is on deck. Runner at second, and Dan Gladden. He's got good legs. 1 man out. Here's the 1-0 pitch. A breaking ball just outside. It's 2-0. Knobloch has hit in 9 of 11 playoff games. He hit .281 for the season, but he looks like he's going to be in the .290, .310 range throughout his career.
Boy, there are a lot of National League ball clubs who have speedsters in the front end of the lineup. Would love to have this guy hitting second. Perfect inside-out hit-and-run swing.
Smoltz sets and fires. It's cut on and missed. Good fastball to make it 2-1. Fascinating that the 2 rookies of the year, or who we think will be, this guy, Knobloch in the American League, and Jeff Bagwell in the National League, both out of Houston, both live there, both good friends. Knobloch says they're going to do a lot of those card shows in the offseason. But both out of the same city. Bagwell with the Astros. Gladden gets his lead at second. Here's the stretch by the right-hander in his pitch. Fouled away. Another tough breaking ball. And it's 2-2. The city of Minneapolis certainly ready for this game tonight. As we pointed out in the pregame show, after they won Game 6 in such a dramatic fashion last night, they emptied out into the streets surrounding the Dome as if they had won it all. And maybe they feel they have by getting the upper hand and winning Game 6, because nobody has ever beaten the Twins in a World Series game inside this arena. Here comes the pitch to Knobloch. There's a fly ball to right, hit deep. Justice goes back, turns on it, and makes the catch. Gladden tags at second. He's on to third safely with 2 men out. Knobloch hit it well and went the other way with it.
It's okay to let him do that. Just take the sting out of his bat. It's only 327 down the line. Not very deep to the fence. But Smoltz had a pitch far enough away that he couldn't drive it. All he could do was loft it. And at this stage of the game, in that situation, Dave, you'll always trade a base for an out.
A 349 career hitter inside the dome, and they love him dearly. Here's the stretch and the first pitch. Taken high, ball 1. Well, what more can you say about Kirby Puckett's performance in Game 6? He was a one-man wrecking crew at the bat and in the field. He made a spectacular catch up against the center field fence. The pitch was low. 2-0. That robbed Ronnie Gant of at least 2 bases. And at the plate, he drove in 3, going 3 for 4. He scored 2 runs. He stole 1 base. And, of course, he had the game-winning home run in the 11th off of Lee Brandt.
And as we were downstairs down on the field prior to the start of the game, the question I was most asked by so many of the reporters covering the World Series was, whose performance did you think was the greatest? Jackson's back when he hit the 3 home runs, or Kirby Puckett's last night in the game? No doubt in my mind, Puckett's was better because Puckett is a complete ball player. Jackson was a hitter.
He's gregarious. He's about as likable as they come.
No reason for John Smoltz to throw him a strike here now, because 2-0, he swings at anything.
The pitch fouled away off to the right. I don't think it was a strike. He got it up. Count moves to 2-1. Gladden's still on top of third, but there are 2 out. We are scoreless in the last half of the 3rd inning of Game 7. There will not be another meaningful baseball game played until spring training. And even that's debatable, whether spring training will be all that important. Both of these ball clubs likely to be at the top of the pecking order come spring training. The pitch cut on and missed. And it's 2-2.
John Smoltz has as crisp a slider as we've seen out of him all year. There's not much break on it, but to the Twins hitters, and that's what you want out of a slider, Dave, is it looks like a fastball till the last few feet, and it's got good movement away from a right-hander. He's even getting a little down and away movement.
Here's his set and the pitch. Cut on and missed for strike 3. Kirby Puckett fans with the go-ahead run just 90 feet away. Gladden is stranded on top of third. So they waste the double, and after 3 in Minnesota, it's the Braves nothing and the Twins nothing. Take it to the 4th inning inside the dome. Dave O'Brien, Don Sutton, Skip Caray, and Pete Van Wieren along with you. Game 7 of the 91 World Series. It is scoreless, but David Justice, Sid Bream, and Brian Hunter will attempt to change that against the veteran right-hander Jack Morris, who has allowed a couple of base hits, has walked a man. And the first pitch to David Justice drops in there for strike 1. David, with a base hit in the 2nd inning, was left out there after Bream, Hunter, and Olson failed to drive him in. He's 7 out of 25 in the series, has 6 RBIs, but of course 5 of those came in one game. Game 5 in Atlanta. He takes another slow breaking ball right on the outside corner to make it 0-2.
Well, he's throwing that split finger fastball almost like it's a blooper pitch to David Justice. It starts out about head high, and he's just dropping it in somewhere around the knees.
David gets back in right on top of the plate. Morris up 0-2 in the pitch. Just outside off the corner. A ball, 2 strikes. Bream, the on-deck hitter. The question now, of course, is, and this one looks like it might go down to the wire again. Atlanta has played 13 playoff games. 8 have been decided by 1 excruciating run. And do the fans back home in Atlanta have any more nails to bite? Every one of them, it seems, has been just nerve-wracking. The 1-2 pitch, cut on and missed for strike 3. Justice strikes out to start the 4th inning. 3rd K in the book for Morris, and it brings up Sid Bream. We want to remind you that we'll be leaving Minneapolis right after the game tonight on Delta Charter 9899, and we expect to arrive in Atlanta at Hartsfield at roughly 3:30. Morris winds and deals. There's a fly ball hooking down the left field line. Gladden on the run. He gets there, and crossing into foul ground, he makes the catch for the out. Sid Bream now 3 for 22 in this World Series. We're going to be walking through Concourse B between gates 27 and 25. That's at about 3:30 this morning, but I must tell you, if the Braves win the World Championship tonight, 3:30 might be very optimistic. It might be a good hour later than that, but we'll see.
And it would be a good hour.
Here's Brian Hunter. Looks at the first one low for ball one. Brian struck out in the second. He's 0 for 1. One of 5 Braves who failed to get a hit last night. He went 0 for 5. Morris stares in, turns on the rubber, and here's the 1-0 pitch. That's low. 2-0. Morris with a good fastball, even at his age. He's 36, but he throws it hard. The killer forkball and a decent changeup, which, as Don said, is really that slowed down split finger. The 2-0 offering. Line drive hit well, deep left field. Gladden goes back. That's over his head. It's up against the fence. Brian is heading for second. He's going to have himself a double. With 2 down, a rocket shot over Gladden's head. Took a skip on the warning track up against the fence. And Hunter is in scoring position. A base hit will get Atlanta the lead.
Well, when the Braves have had their best swings and when they've had pitches to hit, it's because they have made Morris get the ball up in the strike zone, and they've laid off of anything mid-thigh and lower. That's his out pitch. That's the one he wants to get strike one with, then that's the one he wants you to chase a little bit lower. Hunter got one up in the strike zone, and that wasn't too far from following Kirby Puckett's pattern last night.
Indeed. Dropped right at the base of the fence. And here's Greg Olson. A single will chase home Hunter. It's 0-0 in the 4th inning. Each team has 3 hits now.
Right man in the right spot. He was number 2 in the National League this past year in batting average with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. Hit about 370.
Here's the set. Morris fires, and it's high for a ball. Jack Morris inside the Metrodome. And this is one reason he left Detroit to come here. 21-5 is his career record pitching in this facility.
And this is supposed to be a hitter's park.
Yeah. So go figure. Here's the stretch and pitch. In for a strike. It's 1-1. He said he always wanted to pitch here. He's from St. Paul, Minnesota. That's where he grew up. And before he started the first game of this World Series, he got so choked up at times he couldn't even address the media in his pregame comments. And I guess some of the Minnesota media, for whatever reason, really jumped on him for that, for getting teary-eyed and all choked up about it. But it was the culmination of a lifelong dream for him. The 1-1 pitch is high, 2-1.
Well, that just shows you that a lot of people in a position like that don't treat it responsibly.
Talking about the media.
Yeah, they check IDs, but not IQs every now and then.
I don't know what they wrote, but apparently it was something like, well, there are 7 games to be played. He's going to pitch in 3 of them. Why get all choked up about 1? This fastball lands low to Olson, and again, Morris is questioning the strike zone of Don Denkinger. That's about the 3rd time tonight. It's 3-1.
And he, every now and then, Dave, very emotional guy, and he shows it every now and then. If you get him just ticked enough, he'll rear back and try to fire one by somebody. Let his emotions dictate what he does rather than controlling him. And he and Denkinger are still having a little glare off.
And Harper, you can see, is telling him, just calm down, throw a strike here. The stretch in the 3-1 home. Fouled away off to the right, well up into the crowd. Now it's filled up, 3-2. Yeah, Morris always had a lot of trouble controlling himself on the mound in Detroit, despite winning 20 games on 2 occasions and winning more games in the 80s than anyone in baseball. That was his bugaboo, keeping his temper under control. He's done much better with it the last few years. He thinks he's got it all worked out. Here comes the 3-2 to Olson. Foul back upstairs. Olson hangs in there.
He fouled off a pitcher's pitch, too. A pitcher's pitch is one you throw to get the out. Sometimes when you don't get the out on it, there's no place to go after that. You have to make, it's hard to make 2 great pitches in a row. And it can really be disconcerting to a pitcher to make the out pitch the great pitch and then have to back it up with another one.
Let's see if he can throw a great pitch here. Hunter at second, 2 down, no score in the 4th. And the 3-2 on the way. There's a line drive, right field. Mack coming on, and he makes the catch. Olson really shellacked it. He hit it right on the screws, and it stayed up enough for Mack to make the play. And once again, Jack Morris survives. The Braves leave the go-ahead run out at second base. And through 3.5 in Minneapolis, it's still the Braves 0 and the Twins 0. Half of the fourth inning here in game number 7. Dave O'Brien, Don Sutton with you. It is 0-0. A first-class pitcher's duel between John Smoltz, who was 10 years old when his idol and his opponent tonight, Jack Morris, won a game for the Detroit Tigers for the first time in 1979. First pitch to Ken Herbeck. A check swing foul looped off to the left for strike 1. Morris, one of the few guys around who won games in 3 different decades.
And nobody won any more in the 80s than did Jack Morris.
One of the best. Smoltz trying to be considered in that class. The 0-1 pitch is inside. Herbeck says it hit him, and the umpire agrees. Denkinger says take your base. That might have been a case of the umpire being convinced by Herbeck saying, well, look where it hit me.
Yeah, Olson was arguing his point. Bobby Cox has popped out of the dugout. Smoltz had a couple of words for him, and I think both Ole and John thought they had just made a good inside pitch, and the Academy Award should go to Herbeck.
Well, that's true. It's the second time he's a back-to-back winner in this series. After what he did to Ronnie Gant, we watch again on replay. I don't think that ever touched him, Don.
If Olson catches it, they don't make the call. But when it went off Olson's glove, so give Herbeck the nomination.
How about that? On the replay we're looking at, it didn't look like it ever touched him. Let's see another one. Watching that elbow, boy, maybe a fraction of a hair on the baseball. Chili Davis cuts and misses, and it's strike 1 to him. I mean, maybe the breeze of the ball zipping under his elbow.
Well, he has big guns, but they're not that big.
Remember the chorus every time Herbeck came to bat in Atlanta? Cheater, cheater. But he's convinced the umpires a couple of times. Here's the stretch and pitch. High for a ball. 1-1 on Davis, who's 0 for 1. Smoltz struck him out looking in the second inning. Davis has hurt the Braves twice in the series, has 2 homers and 4 RBIs. But he's also hurt the Twins with some questionable defense in Game 5 when he was playing the outfield for the first time in over a year. The right-hander's 1-1 home. Tried to hold his swing. It was inside. It missed, and he did not swing. It's 2-1.
With Davis hitting and Herbeck on first, if there's a ground ball perchance to Pendleton, you might see something unusual take place on the play. Lemke has to take the hole away because Davis is a pull hitter, so he's got to play him toward right. Belliard would be the guy who might take the throw from the third baseman.
The outfield hasn't played around toward left to pull. And the pitch. Swung on, hit high but not deep to left. Hunter is coming in. Bryan keeping his eye on the ball, makes the catch for the out.
That's a key point, too, you touched on. Remember the other night, he took his eye off of it and then lost it. And the fans remembered it because as the ball went up, they started jeering Bryan Hunter.
That's something he'll never forget. I remember talking to Bryan before we played Game 1 here. And I said, what are they telling you about the ceiling and the lights? And the first thing he said was just never let your eyes leave the ball. And last night with Belliard drifting back into left field and Bryan coming in, he looked at Belliard taking his eye off the ball, and it cost him an error. First pitch to Harper is hit high in the air. Short center coming on David Justice. He slides and makes the catch. Ronnie Gant got a very late jump on that ball, but David Justice didn't, and made a fine sliding catch to rob Harper of a base hit. And if David doesn't make that, Herbeck's around third and maybe scores.
That was a great play. That makes 2 great running sliding catches that David Justice has made. He made one off the bat of Brian Harper down in Atlanta, had just made a defensive adjustment. This was made a little more difficult because he had shifted toward the right field line. He had to go back into right center, and it was a tough angle for a tough play.
So Herbeck's still on top of first, and the batter is now Shane Mack, who singled his first trip. Takes a breaking ball in for strike 1.
Nice thing about having Herbeck on first, now with 2 outs, you pretty much know it's going to take a triple to score him.
Yeah, at least.
He's one of those guys that when he hits, they tell him if it doesn't go out of the park, stop it first.
And wait for further instructions. The pitch is outside. Counts 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 men are out. We are scoreless here in the last half of the 4th inning. No more baseball after tonight. The final game of the year. Game number 176 if you're keeping count at home. That does not include the exhibition games. We played about 35 of those, so we're well over 200 games for the year. Mack had a good season, 310, 18 homers, 74 runs batted in. Another guy who loves to hit inside this building. But who wouldn't? The 1-1 pitch is outside. It's 2-1. It's only 327 feet down the right field line. That's where the hefty bag is. Left field is 343, but they had so many doubles skipping over the short fence, which is only about 5 or 6 feet. They put a hockey-like plexiglass on top of that. So it's not so easy to skip a double into the crowd anymore. The 2-1 pitch, breaking ball popped up over second, backing out Lemke, calls for it, waits, and takes it for out number 3. With the good play by David Justice, John Smoltz breezes through the inning after maybe nicking Herbeck on the elbow. And after 4 full here in Minnesota, still no score. Braves nothing, Twins nothing here in Game 7 of the 91 World Series. The Atlanta Braves trying to put the final touch on this unbelievable 91 season. Trying to do it with a win and a ring. Taking home the World Championship. Mark Lemke will lead it off against Jack Morris. And the right-hander's pitch lands high for a ball. Rafael Belliard on deck, and Lonnie Smith after him. The Twins certainly have history on their side, not only the history of this building. The pitch, line drive, base hit into right field, hit solidly by Lemke, and he is aboard again in the World Series. That's his 11th hit in 23 at-bats.
Shades of Bill Mazeroski.
That's amazing. It's
Bobby
amazing.
Richardson.
Oh, yeah. You can tick off all the second basemen you want who have excelled in the World Series, and Mark Lemke has carved his name right beside him.
Joe Morgan, Rennie Stennett, just to throw a couple of more in there. In a game like this, Dave, where it appears the pitchers are going to dominate, and I got to admit I'm a little surprised. Right now is the time where you probably expect Bobby Cox to use the play like a National League ball club. Take the 9th place guy, assume he's a pitcher, and try to bunt Lemke over.
Belliard 1 for 1. We'll see if he's bunting. A lob throw over to first to see if they tip it off, and Lemke gets in safely. Belliard, a very good bunter.
If you're at the ballpark, it's interesting watching that little play develop. The pitcher will come set, give a good move to first base. Third baseman doesn't watch anything but the hitter. He's looking for any sign that the hands may be dropping or that the bunt might be in order.
The stretch by Morris. The pitch he is squaring. Puts it down back toward the mound. It'll be fielded by the catcher. Harper will throw to first to get the out. Got the out on Belliard, whose sacrifice works perfectly. And on to second base in scoring position is Mark Lemke.
And you probably heard a roar in the background. Belliard, as he bunted that, stepped right in front of Harper. The ball popped up in the air. Belliard ran under it, and the crowd was wanting interference. But they had no basis for it right there. It was just a good bunt.
That was one of those turf hops. You bunt it straight down. It goes up about 15 feet. Here's Lonnie Smith, who has flied out and walked in the game.
I used to play with a second baseman in Milwaukee who would always try to get construction called on that.
Construction. The pitch. Cut on and missed. Good, tough breaking ball down and away, and it's 0-1.
Meaning obstruction.
Who was that?
Jim Gantner.
Oh, he had some classics, didn't he?
Wonderful.
Mark Lemke at second base. It's been a familiar sight in this World Series. One man out, and the 0-1 pitch to Smith. On the way. He's bunting down the third base line. A beauty. Pagliarulo fields, throws, and he's safe. Lonnie Smith slid into the base safe. They say Herbeck came away from the bag to take the throw, and now they're on the corners with one man out. And Terry Pendleton coming to bat. A beautiful bunt by Lonnie Smith for a base hit.
That caught everybody napping. Pagliarulo came in, bare hand pickup, submarine throw, just a little bit inside the bag. Herbeck came up with it, but as he was pulling away from the bag, I'm not sure they would have gotten Lonnie anyway. That was a bang-bang play. It was a good play. 3 places. The bunt, the field, and the throw were all good plays, but Lonnie came out the winner on that.
It looks like on the replay that Herbeck did leave the base. He took his spike away. But I think you're right anyway. Lonnie would have beaten it with the slide. So runners are on at first and third. And Terry Pendleton, who has grounded to first and flied to left, but is the Braves' hottest hitter at the moment, is about to stand in. Nothing here in the 5th inning. That might be all about to change.
There's only one thing right now on Terry Pendleton's mind. He's 4 out of 9 with runners on base in the series, but the one thing on his mind, don't hit a ground ball right at somebody. Put the ball in the air, put it in play any place in the outfield.
A double play would kill it. Here's the pitch. Here's a bouncer foul on first for strike 1. Terry homered and doubled off of Morris in game number 4, so he's had success off him.
And the flip side of that equation is Jack Morris is thinking, don't give him anything up in the strike zone. He can drive. Whatever you do, even if you have to bounce it, assume Harper will make the stop, but keep it down in the strike zone, make the ground ball pitch.
1 strike, 1 out. Lonnie Smith gets his short lead at first. Mark Lemke walks away from third. The outfield straight up on Pendleton, who bats left-handed. Opens up his stance. Here's the stretch. Morris taking a long time. Pendleton might wait him out, and the umpire calls time. Pendleton tired of waiting. Terry really has had 2 different series inside the 7 games. He was 2 for 12 in games 1 through 3, and it looked like the problems he had in the National League Championship were going to carry over here. That's not the case. He went 8 for 13 in the last 3 games. Here's the stretch. The 0-1 pitch. Outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pendleton now 10 out of 28 with 2 homers and 2 doubles. He's also scored 6 times. Had a big night yesterday. 3 hits. The stretch and pitch. Popped him up. High in the air. Back to shortstop. Gagne drifting out there. Calls off Gladden. Now they fight for it, and Gagne comes down with it. They almost collided and dropped it. Pendleton popping out. Now there are 2 down. Runners having to hold, and right now we pause for station identification on AM 750 WSB.
Cover Brothers in Tucker salutes the miraculous Atlanta Braves. Go Braves. AM 750 WSB, Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic station.
So Terry Pendleton cannot deliver the run, and with 2 out, Ronnie Gant stands in. And still, the Braves have yet to push a run across the dish. They have out-hit the Twins 5-3. Gant is 0 for 2. He struck out and hit into a force play. And the first pitch to him is a strike at the knees. It's 0-1. And Don, look at where Gagne is set up. So close to the third baseman and very deep at shortstop.
Well, I don't think you can shoot a rifle between the 2 of those guys. They're going to give him the middle of the diamond. They're giving him right center field. They're giving him the right side of the diamond. Knobloch close to second. Gant just got a fastball inside. I believe it's the last one he'll see.
The stretch, the 0-1 delivery. A little bit low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now, if Ronnie wants to take a shot at right field, he doesn't really have to kill the ball. If he hits it on the ground on this hard turf, he doesn't have to hit it all that hard to get it through that gaping hole on the right side, as Herbeck is holding Lonnie Smith at first.
Well, it's not the time you really want to go away from what you do naturally. Ron could also move just a little bit closer. He's going to get a pitch away, and he's not going to have to kill it. He is strong enough that he can make a conscious effort just to put it in play, and his natural strength is going to hit it into the outfield. What he doesn't want to do is pull off the ball and spend all his energy pulling away from it.
The 1-1 home is in the dirt. Here comes Lemke halfway down. Morris picks it up, throws to third. He's safe. He just got in under the tag of Pagliarulo. That ball was in the dirt. Harper kicked it back toward the mound. Morris picked it up, threw quickly over there, and Mark Lemke, who almost made a critical mistake, just did get underneath the tag at third base.
That's a break for the Twins because that ball bounced off of Harper's shin guard. There is absolutely no chance that ball should skip back toward the mound. But Morris came in, fielded it, snapped the throw down to third. Good slide by Lemke. Gets just under the tag from Pagliarulo.
And a good call, too, by Terry Tata, the third base umpire. Looked like he hooked his foot around the base. Counts 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 men out. Runners at first and third for Atlanta. No score in the 5th inning.
Well,
World Series Game 7.
Lady Luck's not going to give it to the Braves. They're going to have to take it.
The right-hander stretchers, throws to first, and a close play, but Lonnie dives in safely. That was bang, bang. That's a smart play, too, by Jack Morris if the throw is on the money, and it was. Lonnie Smith is not expecting that. That was very close. He almost had Smith picked off the bag. That would have killed it. Atlanta still alive, but barely. Counts 2-1 to Gant. It'd be fitting for him to drive this run in with a single. The pitch taken low. 3-1. And you were right about that one fastball in the inner half of the plate, Don. He hasn't given him another one in this at bat.
And Gant is going to have to hit something that's not going to be where he likes it. What Morris is probably doing on this pitch, 3-1. He's going to go right back out there. He's going to say, you want to get yourself out, go ahead, but I'm not going to throw you anything in or half.
Here's the stretch and the 3-1 offering. Bouncer, foul off third. I'll tell you what, we've seen the Lemke slide into third base a couple of times. What do you think?
Braves caught a break on that.
Yeah. I initially thought he hooked his foot around the tag, but watching from the angle that is home plate down the third base line, it looked like Paliarule may have had that tag right on him. In any event, it's 3-2 to Ronnie Gant. Runners at first and third with 2 down. Here's the stretch and the pitch. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Ronnie Gant is struck out, and the Braves leave 2 runners on base and again a runner in scoring position. Braves can't buy a break right now, and through 4.5 in Minnesota, it's still the Braves nothing and the Twins nothing.
91 World Series. The Braves have out-hit the Twins 5-3, but in the only place it counts, there's no score. And here to take you for the next couple of innings, welcome back, Skip Caray.
Okay, Don, thanks very much. Mike Pagliarulo will lead it off. He bounced to first his first time with a couple men on base. No score. Both teams have had their chances, especially the Braves, who have left 6 men already. Smoltz has been outstanding, and he's ready to go to work. And his first pitch of the inning is hit to deep center. Ronnie Gant going back, still going on the track. He's got it, 1 down. That didn't miss by much getting out of here. He raced to Tony Oliva's number 6 in deep left center and hauled it in, 1 away.
What a nice catch. He committed the cardinal sin we talked about. He took his eye off the ball, but at that particular part of this Teflon roof, he was able to look back up and pick it up. That's a nice catch. That's a big play. Guy on first with nobody out would have been a tough situation for John Smoltz.
Greg Gagne hit the ball hard to the third baseman, was thrown out his first time. And he stands in there now against Smoltz with 1 out. The wind on the pitch. Right under his chin, 1 ball, no strikes. The top of the order, and Dan Gladden would hit next. Will hit next. There's only 1 out in the inning. The same 2 teams will not play tomorrow. This is it.
I've been waiting for that.
The wind by Smoltz in the pitch. Fast strike over the outside corner evens it up at 1-1. The outfield doesn't expect Gagne to pull the ball. They're swung around toward right field. Pendleton wide of the line at third. The pitch. Breaking ball into the dirt. He started to go, held up inside. 2 balls and a strike is the count. We're in the bottom of the 5th in a scoreless game. Braves have 5 hits. Twins have 3. Braves just blew a great chance to score in the top half of this inning. First and third, 1 out. Pendleton and Gant coming up, but they failed. 2 balls, 1 strike. The wind on the pitch. Here it is. Just missed the outside corner with a fastball. It's 3-1. Fatigue could be a factor here with both these.
Well, in their last 3 games, both Morris and Smoltz have averaged better than 7 innings to start. Both of them have done great jobs. Their earned run average right about 2 for those 3.
The payoff pitch struck him out with a breaking ball. Gagne is out on strikes. The curveball has not been his friend in this series. Smoltz records his 4th strikeout of the game. And here's Dan Gladden, who has struck out and doubled to left.
And see, that's a pretty safe bet going to your breaking ball on that count 3-2 skip, because with a guy like Gagne, as so many of the Twins hitters do, they chase everything with 2 strikes. Only Chili Davis really makes you throw 3 strikes to get him out.
Gladden stands in, and the pitch to him, hit up the middle, empty dives, can't get it, base hit center field. So a 2-out single for Dan Gladden, the 4th hit of the night for the Twins. And Knobloch bats with a runner at first and 2 down. Chuck Knobloch has twice flied to right. Once hit the ball quite hard. He takes a look at his third base coach, Rod Gardenhire. This is a spot where they could send Gladden. Knobloch doesn't get that many extra base hits.
Might surprise you, but of the Dodgers, of the Braves' 5 starters, John Smoltz was the toughest to steal on this year.
Knobloch waits. Short lead at first for Gladden. Throw over there. He dives back, makes it easily. No score, 5th inning. Looking ahead to the top of the 6th, the Braves send Justice, Bream, and Hunter to the plate in the middle of the order. Here, Kirby Puckett waits on deck, but there are 2 out in the inning. The stretch. Throw to first. Gladden back again. Harry Wendelstedt makes the call at first base.
John Smoltz has a motion. He holds his hands up high, so when he starts to go to home, he brings them down. He's incorporated that in his throw to first, so he starts movement that's the same as his pitching delivery, so he can really deceive a base runner, maybe more so than some left-handers can.
The stretch, the pitch. Swung, line, center field. Gant lost it for a moment. Now he picks it up, drifts back, and makes the catch, and the inning is over, and that was almost disastrous. You could see when the ball was hit, Ronnie just froze for a moment, but then he was able to pick up the flight of the ball, drift back, and make the catch. Couple balls hit sharply in that inning, but 1 hit, no runs, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 5 complete, no score. This is 1 for 2, and he leads off the Atlanta 6th inning in a scoreless game. Don Sutton, Skip Caray with you at the moment. Jack Morris delivers. Breaking ball fouled back 0-1. Justice singled his first time, struck out his second. The Braves left a runner in the second, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth. No score in the ball game. The wind by Morris and the pitch. Fastball inside. He started to go, held up in time, and the count evens at 1-1. Nobody on, nobody out, top of the 6th. Justice, Bream, and Hunter do here for Atlanta. The wind and the 1-1 pitch. Swung and missed it. He had a home run cut, but he came up empty, and it's 1-2.
He has pitched Justice 3 different ways, 3 different at-bats. First time he got burned on a fastball for a single. Second time up, he threw him all slop. Just change-ups. It's almost like telling him, here comes an Ephus pitch. This time he's staying inside with all split fingers.
The pitch to Justice is hard on the ground to first. Herbeck fumbles, recovered. Throws to the pitch, recovering in time, 1 out. That ball handcuffed him a little bit. He went to his knees, dropped the ball, but recovered in time to hit Morris, who did his job and covered the base. 1 away. That ball was sharply hit. Sid Bream is the batter. He's 0 for 2 and 3 out of 22 in the World Series. So he is due. Brian Hunter, who ripped a double his last time, moves on deck. Who's going to blink first in Game 7? The wind, the pitch. Check, swing, strike, a let-up, 0-1. The crowd is relatively quiet here.
I think they're more nervous than the players.
0-1 the count. Bream steps out. At this broadcast level, you don't realize how loud it is in this place. If you go sit up in the press seats where we sit when you're not working, it's incredible. The pitch, let up, hit on the ground to Herbeck again. He'll take this one himself, 2 out. 4 in a row set down by Morris. Here's Brian Hunter. He has struck out and doubled. On the double, a line shot to deep left center. Bream's woes continue, and Hunter stands in there. Bryan is 4 out of 19 in the series with 3 RBI. 1 for 2 tonight. They play him around toward left, and they play him deep. Knobloch cheats up the middle. Gagne over in the hole on the left side. The pitch swung, fouled it off his foot. Over into the Twins dugout. 0-1. 2 out, nobody aboard. The people games like this are really tough on are the players who are not playing. And guys like Ted Turner, Stan Cast, and John Schuerholz, who can do nothing but helplessly watch. The 0-1 pitch. Here it is. Let up, a little low. It eludes the catcher, Brian Harper, and the count evens 1-1.
But you can tell the guys who know their roles and the ones who are into the game situation. Every now and then we get to sneak a peek into the Braves dugout. And Tommy Gregg, when this inning started, got a bat, batting gloves, and his helmet, started stretching, started swinging the bat. He knows if they get to the situation where Belliard or possibly even Olsen comes up with runners in scoring position, he's got a shot at hitting.
And it puts tremendous pressure on the manager. Both pitchers have been effective. The pitch to Hunter. Swung, fly ball, corked into center field. Puckett is there waiting. And the inning is over, and a very easy one for Jack Morris. 1-2-3, nothing doing. We move on to the bottom half of the 6th inning. A scoreless game in Minnesota. The heart of the order up there for the Twins in the bottom of the 6th. Puckett, Herbeck, and Davis, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters, against John Smoltz in a scoreless game. Don Sutton, Skip Caray with you. Pete Van Wieren, Dave O'Brien alongside as well. Puckett tonight has tapped to the mound, and he's struck out. He's been easy for Smoltz so far. The wind on the pitch. Outside with a fastball. 1 ball, no strikes. Smoltz has pitched like a thoroughbred again. No walks. He has now pitched 12 innings in the World Series and has yet to walk a batter. The wind on the pitch. Curve, a beauty right in there. His breaking ball has been his friend all night long. A ball and a strike to count.
And a fastball to Puckett from Smoltz has only been a rumor. If he's thrown one, it has been just to set up what he's been doing with the breaking ball.
The 1-1 pitch. Another curve started to go, held up outside. 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the 6th. A scoreless game. What a World Series it's been. The 2-1 pitch, here it is. Threw the fastball by him that time, and it's 2-2.
Threw it about cap bill high. He has thrown so few of them to Puckett that it looks so good that he chased one up the ladder.
And now Smoltz ahead in the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You would guess a breaking ball would be forthcoming here. We're about to find out. He works quickly. The 2-2. Curve just missed high and inside. He hung that baby, and it's 3-2 and a full count to Puckett. The outfield shades him slightly toward right field against John Smoltz. And the payoff pitch, here it is. Curve fouled it back, and he had a good cut at that one, and it's still 3-2. Smoltz didn't give in to him, threw him the breaking ball, and Puckett fouled it away. Ken Herbeck waits on deck. Smoltz looks in for the sign. The payoff pitch. Again, here it is. Inside, his first walk.
Puckett has walked 3 times in the series, Skip, but that's the first time it wasn't an intentional pass.
And that hurts. And the go-ahead run is at first with nobody out. Ken Herbeck, the batter, he's flying to right and been hit by a pitch. A call that was mildly disputed by the Braves. Bream now has to hold the runner at first. The big left-hand hitter waits the pitch. Started to go, tried to stop, did stop. 1 ball, no strikes. Chili Davis moves on deck. No score. Kirby Puckett with good speed runs at first base. Smoltz looks in. A conservative lead for Puckett at the moment. The stretch. The pitch. Check, swing, strike. It was a breaking ball, down and in, and the count evens at a ball and a strike.
He and Olson have mixed their pitches really well. There's been no pattern that you could pick up. A lot of times hitters will look for a pattern and they'll set on a pitch, but those two guys have done such a good job. The Twins haven't been able to do that.
Throw to first, chases Puckett back. He makes it easily. The stretch. The 1-1 pitch. Low with a fastball, 2-1. Smoltz asks for and receives a new baseball. 2 balls, 1 strike. Once again, Olson made a good play on a pitch in the dirt. John looks in. The stretch. The 2-1 pitch. Swung, pop foul back and out of play. I'm a little surprised they didn't send the runner there. It's 2-2.
Well, he can steal. He has the speed. He has the smarts. But what they like to do, Skip, is keep that hole open for Herbig over there. He's a dead bull hitter. If Puckett takes off and steals second, then Bream would come off a lot quicker, close the hole up. They're just giving him something to shoot through.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Might go with 2 strikes.
The stretch. The pitch. Curve swung, popped him up center field. Gant is there waiting. He squeezes it for the first out. Puckett bluffs towards second, but Gant quickly gets the throw in, and there's a tough out. 1 away. Herbeck is retired. Chili Davis is the batter. He is struck out, and he is flied to left.
If you hear me gasp every time a fly ball goes to the outfield, I think the Braves have agreed that whoever has the ball just throws his hands in the air, and they use more visual than voice with all the noise here, but it's the same sign or the same motion you see a guy make when he has no clue where the ball is.
We had one earlier in this game, a pop fly to second, where David Justice had, I'm sure, no idea where the ball was. He was out there windmilling, screaming for help, but luckily the ball was nowhere near it. That can happen here. It's very difficult. Brian Hunter lost one last night that did no harm. Well, here's Davis, runner at first, 1 out. Stretch pitch. Swung, broken back, grounder to first. Throw to second. Out there, back to first. Out there, inning over. For the second time in as many nights, the Braves turn the 3-6-3 double play. And they're out of trouble in the 6th inning. The leadoff walk accomplishes nothing. No hits, no runs, no errors, none left. John Smoltz continues to be tough. No score after 6. 7th inning, let's pause for station identification. You're listening to Braves baseball on AM 750 WSB.
Atlanta's Hall of Fame dealer, Southern Lincoln Mercury, says thank you for a year we'll never forget. That's Southern Lincoln Mercury, 2 miles inside I-285 on Highway 78 in Decatur. Southern Lincoln Mercury says go Braves. AM 750 WSB Atlanta.
Greg Olson leads off the Atlanta half of the 7th inning. He has popped to second and lined hard to right. Jack Morris and John Smoltz pitching their hearts out here, and they both got shutouts through 6. The wind, the pitch to Olson. Fastball low, 1 ball, no strikes. The Twins have never lost a World Series game in the Metrodome. The wind, the pitch. Pop foul back and out of play. It evens the count at a ball and a strike. They haven't lost a World Series game in the Metrodome yet. Brian Hunter with an ice bag on his hand down in the Atlanta dugout. I don't know what prompted that. A ball and a strike to count. The wind and the pitch. Fast strike over the outside corner. He's got a good fastball tonight. It's 1-2.
Back in Atlanta, didn't Brian Hunter dive, make a play, and come in holding his right thumb once? Maybe it's bothering him a little bit more. That's why the ice is there.
The 1-2 got him with a split finger. Olson is out, 1 away. That's the 5th strikeout for Morris. The first out in the 7th inning. And Mark Lemke is the batter. He's 1 out of 2 again. In the series, he is 10 out of 22. Rafael Belliard moves on deck. The wind and the pitch. Swung, lined into center field again. On comes Puckett, though. He's got it. 2 down. That ball was hit sharply, but Puckett got a good jump, made the catch, 2 out. And Rafael Belliard will be the batter. Belliard has singled and sacrificed, so he has been perfect tonight in the bottom half of the inning. The lower end of the order for the Twins, Harper, Mack, and Pagliarulo, the first 3 against Smoltz. Braves need a run. You get to extra innings on the road. One way to look at it is they get 6 outs for every 3 you get. The pitch. No score in the ball game. Smoltz again, kicks and fires. Fastball low, it's 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes. This guy is a tough hitter. Harper out of Los Angeles, lives now in Scottsdale, Arizona. Big guy, 6'2", 205-pounder. The pitch. Swung and missed a fastball. It was low and away. May have chased ball 3. He's upset with himself.
In close to 500 at bats, he walked 14 times. He struck out 22 times. He put the ball in play.
2 balls, 1 strike. The wind. The pitch. Swung and missed a curve, and the count evens at 2-2. So Smoltz, as he has done all night, battles back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The right-hand hitter waits. The right-hander into the wind, and the 2-2. Swung, ground ball. Pendleton to his left, has it. Throws to first in time, 1 out. So the first one is gone in the bottom of the 7th, and Shane Mack is the batter. He's 1 for 2 on the night. Neither team can break through.
It's been a fun year and a great year, and win or lose, obviously I'd rather win. For you and Pete, I'm happy that after 16 years, you got to the World Series, and it has been a ball working with you guys this year. Let's try more World Series. I'm glad you're here for it.
I'm in accord. Mack waits. The wind and the pitch. He bunts down the third baseline. Pendleton, barehand, pick up and throw. What a play, 2 down. Pendleton threw out Shane Mack. A brilliant play. He had to charge that ball. The only chance he had was to barehand it. And he did that and made a perfect throw for the second out. I didn't think he had a chance to get him, but he did for the second out of the inning. And here's Pagliarulo, who chased Gant to the left center field wall his last time.
Well, the scouting report said that Mack would do that every now and then, and to the help of Pendleton, he tipped it off a little bit early, but that's still a great barehand pickup. He had to unload in a hurry and had to make a good throw. He did right to Bream at first.
So 2 out, nobody aboard. The pitchers appear to be getting better as the game progresses, and the pitch is a curved strike, 0-1. The outfield shades Pagliarulo a step to left field. They don't think anybody can pull John Smoltz. The wind, the pitch. Outside with a let-up. A ball and a strike to count. He just showed him that pitch. Pagliarulo 3 out of 10 in the series, a home run included. The 1-1 pitch, here it is. Curve just missed the outside corner, 2-1.
His curve has been so good tonight, Skip, and he's gotten such good pull on it. Normally a curveball would break down and into a lefty. A couple he has pulled so hard that they're spinning so much that they're backing up away from a left-handed hitter.
The 2-1 pitch, here it is. Curve low, 3-1. The number 9 hitter, Greg Gagne, the shortstop, waits to hit next.
Critical pitch for John Smoltz. Pagliarulo, dead fastball hitter, hasn't had any good cuts at John's breaking ball. Choice he and Olsen have to make right now is, do you want to take a shot at getting a curveball for a strike, or do you want to throw a strike with the fastball? The odds favor the two of them if they can get him to get a breaking ball in the strike zone.
3 balls, 1 strike. Smoltz looks in. He is ready. He delivers. Fastball hit to third. Pendleton has it. Hop, skip, and throw. Inning over. And Smoltz continues to weave his web. Pendleton tied a record held by many as he threw out the side. No hits, no runs, no errors, none left. At the end of 7, no score in the ballgame.
We've completed 7 in Game 7. Still no score. And the man who has promised me in the commercial break a World Championship in the next 2 innings is here to give you the next 2 innings, and I take it personally when you don't tell me the truth.
I know.
Go get him, David.
All right, thank you very much, Don. It's Lonnie Smith to lead off this scoreless duel in the 8th inning. Lonnie is 1 for 2 with a walk, and the first pitch from Morris is taken inside for ball 1. It's a good sign when Lonnie has a hit. He only has 5 of them in the World Series, but in every game he has at least 1 hit in. The Braves have won. Here's the pitch. Check swing looper into right field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Lonnie Smith is aboard. His 2nd hit of the night. He didn't mean to, but it doesn't matter. He tried to hold up his swing halfway through, but got wood on it and dunked it into right for a single.
And excuse me swing, and I think even Lonnie, who is fairly stoic about his business, had to have a little smile for Pat Corrales down at first. The man in the batting order who has been called on all year to do just about everything you can do offensively is the guy hitting now, Terry Pendleton. We've seen him sacrifice. We've seen him hit and run. We've seen him hit for average. We've seen him hit for power. Wonder what Bobby Cox has up his sleeve this time.
Terry is 0 for 3. Palirulo, the third baseman, thinks he might bunt. He's in close. The first pitch is outside for ball 1. Pendleton is tapped out to first. He's flied to left and popped out to the shortstop. For the series, he's batting .357. He's got 10 hits and 28 at-bats, and has really come on strong the last 3 ball games of the series. Lonnie Smith digs out his lead at first base. Herbeck holding him there. A throw to first, and he skips in safely. Lonnie, of course, will be 36 years old in December, but still has the good legs. Would Bobby Cox try a hit-and-run play here to try to make something happen? Braves have stranded 6 men on base, and the bullpen gets active for the first time tonight for Minnesota. The stretch, Morris deals a strike on the outside corner. 1-1. Long stare there by Terry Pendleton. He thought it was off the corner.
Guthrie, the left-hander, Bedrosian, the right-hander, throwing for the Twins.
Nobody out. Top half of the 8th inning. Lonnie Smith has singled. He's aboard at first. Pendleton hitting now. Ronnie Gant in the on-deck circle. 0-0. World Series Game 7. Another throw to first, and again Smith is in safe. Terry has 3 RBIs in the series, and he has fashioned quite a comeback, not only in the great year he had, going from hitting .230 with St. Louis last year to winning the batting crown at .319 this year, but he's bounced back in the playoffs. Another throw to first, and again Lonnie is in safely.
And all these plays, these throws to first, are being called by Tom Kelly from the dugout. It's interesting watching the little gamesmanship that's going on. Pendleton steps out. Jimmy Williams gives a set of signs. Kelly watches the set of signs. Then he gives a set to Harper, who relays him to Jack Morris. It's like watching a chess game go on down there.
Lonnie gets his lead. He's got 1 foot on the turf, 1 on the dirt. Herbeck holds him. Here's the stretch. Morris will pitch home. Swung on and fly foul off to the left and well up into the crowd. 1-2 to Pendleton. Terry has played a Game 7 against these Minnesota Twins here in Minnesota once before, so this is deja vu for him. But he wants to change the ending. It was in 1987 when the St. Louis Cardinals, after having swept this Minnesota team in St. Louis, came up here and proceeded to lose Game 6 and 7 and lost the world title to Minnesota. Terry was a member of that team. He only got 7 at-bats in that World Series. Had 3 hits and a homer. Here's the stretch, the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He struck him out, or did he foul tip it into the dirt? I think Terry Pendleton is alive. He foul tipped it into the dirt, and Harper could not make the catch out of the air. Pendleton is still hitting. Well, how about that? Morris wanted an explanation from Don Denkinger, who's now going out to the mound to explain it to him again. And he's taking a look at the baseball as well. Harper over his shoulder.
I think the question that Morris and Harper are asking is not, was it foul tipped in the dirt, but did he hit it at all? Because definitely the ball went in the dirt. Denkinger very quickly asked Terry Tata down at third, did it go in the dirt? Yes, it did, but he didn't ask him about the foul tip. And that's the argument you're getting from the Twins, and still a little bit of it going on with Harper and Denkinger.
Morris has not seen eye to eye with this umpire all night long. It hasn't hurt him yet. He's allowed 6 hits, but no runs. And Terry Pendleton has another swing coming. Counts the ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. Here's the stretch and pitch. There's a line drive hit well to left center field. That's headed for the gap. That's going to drop in up against the wall. Smith had to wait to see if it fell in. They're going to hold him at third. And Terry Pendleton into second base with a double. Second and third, and nobody out. The Braves have something doing.
Braves caught a break on the 3rd strike to Terry Pendleton. From watching the replays, it looked like he didn't touch it at all. Lonnie got a good decoy job out of Knobloch and Gagne at second. They made him think there was a ground ball, but then once he picked the ball up in the air, he did the right thing. He had to make sure it was caught. Best he could get out of it was third.
Well, you remember going back to one of the games earlier in the series, Game 4, when Lonnie tried to score on a Terry Pendleton double and was gunned out at home plate. That was that spectacular collision when he knocked Harper back, but Harper held on. That time Lonnie was held up at third by Jimmy Williams.
But the key to that play right there was the fact that they didn't call it 3rd strike. Jack Morris is showing you something now. If you're watching on TV, you can, maybe you can see it. We're sitting here watching a veteran pitcher not in control of what's going on. If you pitched as long as Morris and you're doing what he's doing, he is asking the dugout, should I pitch from the stretch or should I pitch from the windup? If he doesn't know by now.
Here comes the first one to Ron again. It's foul back upstairs for strike 1. So what you're saying is he's confused about what they want him to do, pitching out of the stretch or out of the windup.
And I've never seen a veteran pitcher ever ask the dugout, do you want me from the stretch or from the windup? That's the pitcher's decision. And it may be a situation right now with not getting the call strike, with getting the double now at 2nd and 3rd. He was just trying to buy a minute to get control of his senses.
Well, he's pitching in his 5th World Series game. The pitch, a little roller down the first base line, fielded by Herbeck. He'll freeze the runners and tag out Gant in the base path. Ronnie did not get a good swing. He hit it off the end of the bat, a little number, a cue shot to first. It was an easy play for Herbeck. Lonnie Smith could not advance, so it's Pendleton at second, Smith at third. Now there is one man out, and Justice the batter. Well, if the Braves do get a run here and win this game, no question, the swing and miss or foul tip, depending on who's the umpire, of Terry Pendleton is going to be one of the most talked about plays in this series. Now, Tom Kelly has left the dugout for Minnesota. He is headed out to the mound. He's got a left-hander warming up and David Justice in the batting circle. And we'll see if he makes a move here and lifts his veteran right-hander.
He also could be talking over the decision, do we walk David Justice and pitch to Sid Bream with the bases loaded? That might be a little bit of a wiser decision. Bream has not swung the bat well. Justice could bust out any time with a home run. So if he doesn't make the pitching change, I'll bet you that's what the conversation is about.
It was a long one, and I think that's what they're going to do because he's leaving Morris in the game. They'll probably walk David and pitch to Sid Bream, who is in a 12 for 73 batting slump. David climbs in, and they have signaled for the intentional walk. So, Don, that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to load the bases. There's ball 1, and take their chances with Sid Bream, who is grounded to second, flied to left, and grounded out to first, and is not having a good series, to put it mildly.
Now, if you're Bobby Cox, do you make a move and go with maybe a Keith Mitchell, a Jerry Willard, or a Jeff Treadway in this situation? Bobby, being the very loyal guy that he is, sometimes makes a decision based on the fact that he is a player's manager.
In fact, I would say if this game were being played in Atlanta, Sid Bream wouldn't be in the lineup tonight. The way he's been swinging the bat, he's left 13 men on base. But he is in the lineup tonight, and he is striding up to home plate. There was ball 4 to Justice. He has been intentionally walked, so David is at first. Terry Pendleton at second. Lonnie Smith at third. One man out in the 8th inning. The crowd is up, and it's Morris against Bream, maybe for the World Championship. It may come down to this situation. Here's the set, and Morris fires, and it's outside for ball 1. Sid just 3 for 24 in the World Series. And you go back to mid-September, He only has a dozen hits in his last 73 at-bats. What a time to bust out. The stretch and pitch. Foul back. Good rip by Bream, but it's 1-1. In going, 3 for 24 in the series. Sid has left 13 men on base over the last 7 games.
Maybe it sounds cruel to say, but what you have to hope for here is if Sid Bream makes an out, it's either a deep fly ball or a strikeout. The last thing you want him to do, first thing you want to do is get a hit, but the last thing you want him to do is hit a ball on the ground.
Bases are loaded. 1 man out. Outfield playing straight up and deep. A Brave at every base. And the 1-1 pitch. Fouled away off to the left. And it's 1-2. Morris is ahead in the count. Before he got a base hit that bounced against the hefty bag in right field late last night, Bream had gone 0 for 10 in the series. He's just not hitting anything. But a single puts Atlanta in front at last. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Bouncing ball right at Herbeck at first. He comes home. Got 1. Back to first. Got 2. The double play kills Atlanta. Exactly what he could not afford to do, and that's what he did. 3-2-3, and that's the end of it.
If this game is won by the Minnesota Twins, chalk up the MVP award to Tom Kelly right there. He managed that.
Well done. The Minnesota Twins have just put up what amounts to a goal line stand. The Braves had the bases loaded, 1 out, but Sid Bream hits into a double play to kill the inning, kill the rally, and we go to the last of the A's, still 0-0.
And the game is on the line right now. For the first time tonight, it is really on the line.
There's a bouncing ball up the middle by Randy Bush into the outfield, base hit.
And the reason I said that is that last night the Braves, with an opportunity to win, had everything go wrong. They had to pump up the balloon again. Right there, the air was just let out of the balloon. Momentum is definitely on the Twins side, and here comes the crowd again.
We've got a moment. Let's pause for station identification on AM 750 WSB.
Caray Heating and Air Conditioning recommends Trane's energy-wise high-efficiency gas furnaces, which will significantly lower your heating bills. Call 926-7701 for Caray Heating and Air. AM 750 WSB, Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic station.
The Atlanta Braves have activity in the bullpen. Alejandro Pena and Mike Stanton are throwing. This is the first time the Braves bullpen has had to get busy tonight. Randy Bush batting for Greg Gagne. Ripped the first pitch up the middle into center field for a base hit. Al Newman is now running for him at first base. And Leo Mazzone has just paid his first mound visit of the night to John Smoltz, who has now surrendered just 5 hits. And Dan Gladden is coming to bat. Gladden on the night has struck out, doubled, and singled. He's 2 for 3, getting him up to 214 in the series. Good speed on the bases, good speed in the box. We'll see how Kelly plays it. Nobody out. And time called for a moment. John Smoltz has been tremendous tonight. Absolutely one of his best performances of the year, and in a clutch role. But will it be good enough to win the ring? Here's the pitch. He's squaring to bunt, pops it up back toward the screen, and no one can get to it. It's strike 1. They were going to try to advance him on down to second base with a sacrifice. If Gladden can do that, Knobloch, who's an outstanding hitter, and then Puckett would bat next to try to drive him in. Last half of the 8th inning. No runs on 7 hits for the Braves. No runs, 5 hits for Minnesota. No errors in the game. It has been a true championship game. Throw to first, and the runner Newman skips in safe.
Gladden has sacrificed successfully 5 times. Nobody on the Twin, well, only one guy on the Twin has done it more than 5. That's 8 for Kirby Puckett. In the American League, with 9 hitters in the lineup, you don't see the sacrifice employed as much.
But all you need is 1 in this game. He's squaring again and bunts another one foul. Just behind home plate, so it's 0-2. Gladden couldn't get it done on the first couple of attempts. And he's in a hole, 0-2. Knobloch, the on-deck hitter. He's been very productive in the series, not so tonight. A little second baseman 0 for 3.
Aguilera for the Twins in their bullpen. Pena and Stanton in the Braves bullpen.
A long look in by the right-hander. Newman gets his lead at first. Here's the stretch. And pitch. A little bit outside, just a hair wide, and it's 1-2. The outfield shifted a couple of steps in center and in right toward the right field line. But Hunter not pulled quite so much into the alley, but he's playing deep. Another throw to first, and again Newman gets in. Smoltz has not lost a game since the 3rd week in August. That's how dominating he's been. He hasn't lost a game in the playoffs. He comes set, fires home, and it's fouled away off to the right. That'll make the upper deck, and it's 1-2. Don, you say this is the key inning, the key half inning in the ball game.
Well, definitely, because all the Braves with runners at second and third, nobody out. Everybody in the Twins dugout in the stands have to be thinking, okay, if we can get out of this with one, oh, we have a shot. But to have the Braves come out of it empty, I mean, the air went out of the balloon. John's trying to pump it back up. He can with some good pitches here.
The 1-2 foul, little roller back to the screen to hang in there. Still 1-2 to Dan Gladden. Well, you thought that was the inning to bust out, especially after Terry Pendleton's double put runners at second and third. Then after the intentional walk to David Justice, they were loaded up. But the Braves couldn't get it done. Sid Bream bouncing into a killer double play to end the threat. Here's the set and pitch. Popped him up. Right over second base, shallow center. Coming on is Ronnie Gant. He's there and clinches it for the out. Newman back on first, and there's one away for Chuck Knobloch. Boy, you know, you always hold your breath, especially with the Atlanta Braves outfielders, when there's a high fly ball, very high pop-up to the outfield, not because the Braves are bad outfielders, just because, as we've seen a couple of times in this series, it's so unpredictable what's going to happen.
Tom Kelly had the bunt situation with Gagne. That went by the wayside. He has his best contact hitter in the lineup, a good base runner at first. If he wants to put him in motion, play hit and run, this is the combination he wants.
Again, excellent speed in Knobloch and the runner at first, Al Newman. And the pitch. He turned the bunt, but took a strike on the outside corner. Nothing in one.
That wasn't a sacrifice. Terry Pendleton was way back at third base, and Knobloch sneaked a peek down there. He was going to bunt for a base hit. His reason for that, not trying to drive in Newman from first, was he knows if he keeps the inning alive, Smoltz has to face Puckett, Herbig, and Davis.
There is one out. Smoltz stares into Olson, takes a sign, and stretches. And pitches. It's a pitch out, but Newman's not running. And it's 1-1. Again, our Delta Charter leaves right after tonight's game, or within an hour or so, we hope. That's Delta Charter 9899. We expect a touchdown in Atlanta around 3:30 in the morning. We'll be walking through Concourse B between gates 27 and 25. If you would like to come on out and greet us. And I think several thousand just might. In particular, if the Braves can get at least a run on the board and win this ring in Minnesota. A long way to go yet. And the Braves have squandered many scoring chances in the game. The stretch again by the righty. Newman's running. There's a line drive, base hit, right field. Newman rounds second on his way to third. Justice hurries the throw back to the infield. And Knobloch has himself a clutch hit and run single to put runners on the corners with one man out. And now the little guy who is such a hero last night will try to do it again here in Game 7. Kirby Puckett, almost solely responsible for getting the Twins this far with his spectacular performance in the 6th game. His batting now, where a high and deep fly ball will put Minnesota in front. And Bobby Cox is marching out to the mound. He is going to make a change. Rest assured, it will not be Charlie Liebrandt to throw to Puckett. Instead, it's going to be a left-hander in Mike Stanton. Puckett 0 for 2 with a walk in the game. Kirby, a man who bats over 400 against left-hand pitching. But Bobby Cox is elected to make that move. That's your pitching change. For the Atlanta Braves, the new pitcher is Mike Stanton. The left-hander out of Houston, Texas, Mike Stanton is on, making his second appearance. Michael is 1-0. No earned run average. He's allowed 3 hits and walked a man, striking out 7. And the Twins only hitting 136 against Michael. He'll face Kirby Puckett here with runners at first and third. 1 man out. Ken Herbeck, the on-deck hitter. No score yet. But done an interesting decision by Bobby Cox to bring in a left-hand pitcher. And I'm sure he's full aware of the statistic that Kirby Puckett really feasts on left-hand pitching, batting an amazing .406 during the regular season. Of course, he hit Charlie Liebrandt for the homer that won it last night, and he has Al Pena in the bullpen.
Yes, it is an interesting decision, but if you ask Bobby, I'm sure he's going to tell you Stanton has gotten out both left and right-handers all this year, and that's true. But Puckett has hammered left-handers. He hit about .408 for the year against him. Well, they're going to pass him. Yeah, they are. They're going to walk him intentionally. They're going to make Ken Herbeck be the guy. Now it makes sense.
There's the decision by Bobby Cox. They intentionally walk him here. There's ball 2 outside to Puckett, and he will pitch to the left-hand hitting Ken Herbeck, who's not done anything in the series either.
And I think it's a good move to let Mike Stanton come in and intentionally walk Puckett rather than leaving Smoltz out there to walk him, because Stanton at least gets to familiarize himself with the mound, and it feels different from day to day. Now he's thrown some pitches. He's out there. He's in the heat of the battle. He's into the feel of the game, and he's already thrown 4 pitches before he has to make the most critical pitch of the night for him.
And Ken Herbeck has faced Mike Stanton 3 times in this series. Stanton has struck him out every time.
Well, what the Braves want out of Herbeck is the same thing the Twins wanted out of Sid Bream. Any ground ball is a double play, because Herbeck is a lot slower than he appears. A likely candidate for a double play.
He's flied to right, been hit by a pitch, maybe, and popped to center field. 0 for 2 in the game.
So you're rolling all the chips on this one. You're saying 1 run is going to be enough to beat you, and you're going to say, what's the difference if it's 1 or 4? Rolling all the chips to try to get a double play.
Stanton's first pitch is on the way, and it's a little bit low for ball 1. On deck, Chili Davis. A fly ball deep enough, and the outfield has to play deep with Herbeck up there. Is going to score Newman from third with the only run so far. The set, kick, and throw. There's a high chop foul off first, and the count's even up. 1 ball and 1 strike. Good speed all the way around out there, with Puckett at first, Knobloch at second, and Newman on third. Nothing in the last half of the 8th inning. Bases filled for Minnesota. Braves had him loaded in the top of the frame and could not score with only 1 out. The stretch. The lefty's 1-1 pitch. Down and in for a ball. It's 2-1.
Herbeck second on the Twins in double plays. Puckett was number 1. He grounded into 27. Herbeck hit into 15 during the regular season.
He's only 3 out of 26 for the series and 0 for his last 14.
And he's already grounded into 1 in the series.
Stanton sets and fires. There's a line drive caught out of the air by lefty. Doubles him off second base. They get a double play. Unbelievable. Knobloch had broken for third. He left the bag, and all Lemke had to do was step on the base to complete the double play. Unbelievable. Each side has the bases loaded in the same inning with 1 out and can't score. By hitting into double plays, they kill the rallies. What a ball game, which we take to the 9th inning in Minnesota. It's the Braves nothing and the Twins nothing. If you haven't found something in this World Series that you can't like, you're not trying hard enough. This has been One of the classic duels all time. We take you to the 9th inning. It's the Braves nothing, the Twins nothing. And here we go. Brian Hunter leads it off and takes ball 1 in the dirt from Jack Morris. And Don, I don't know who has the momentum in this game. It swings back and forth so radically.
Mo is very confused right now. He thinks he must have a contagious disease. He jumped into one dugout, then the other, and nobody wants him.
The pitch, hard hit grounder at the third baseman, Palirulo, who fields and throws out Hunter. 1 down. There's a new shortstop from Minnesota. That's Al Newman, who remains in the game replacing Gagne. And in that regard, Atlanta might catch a break. Gagne a far better shortstop defensively than Newman. 1 down for Greg Olson. And I don't know how the folks in Atlanta can possibly take another one of these. A 7th game being played like all the rest of them have been, which is to say nerve-shattering. Olson's 0 for 3 in the game, and the first pitch to him is chopped high up the middle, fielded by Newman. He fires and gets it. Newman got to it in good shape. He was shaded up the middle, caught up to it right behind the bag, and fired him out. 2 down. And here's Mark Lemke. He's grounded out to second, singled, and flied out to center. 1 for 3 tonight. And batting a hefty .435 in the World Series. 2 down, the bases are empty. Inning number 9. 0-7-0 for the Braves. 0-6-0 for Minnesota. First pitch to Lemke is a strike. Morris and Smoltz have dueled all night long. The 36-year-old fires. Lemke trying to hold it and couldn't. He went around, and it's 0-2. If Lemke gets aboard, Jeff Blauser will bat for Rafael Belliard. Everybody standing here now. Morris and his pitch. Just a little bit low. Good job of holding that cut by Lemke. Almost went. And it's a ball, 2 strikes. It's been another amazing game. But what else is new in this Atlanta Braves postseason? Lemke waits on Morris. The right-hander stares in, toes the rubber, and the 1-2 pitch. A little bit low, and it's 2-2. Morris has never been beaten in a World Series game. He comes in 3-0 in the October Classic. He's also 6-1 lifetime in the playoffs, so this is money time for Morris. 2 down, bases clean. Atlanta needs a base runner. Lemke has been on base throughout the series. Counts 2-2. Here's the wind and the pitch. Struck him out swinging. They go 1-2-3. Morris fans Lemke to end the 9th. We head for the last half of the 9th inning. It's Davis, Harper, and Mack to hit for the Twins. It's the Braves nothing, Minnesota nothing. 8.5 innings here in World Series Game 7. The Atlanta Braves and the Minnesota Twins have been staring eyeball to eyeball. Neither side has blinked yet. We're now in the last half of the 9th inning. Chili Davis leads it off against Mike Stanton. And here we go. The first pitch is foul back. Good rip by Davis, but into the crowd for strike 1. Chili is 0 for 3. He's been struck out looking, flied to left, and hit into a 3-6-3 double play. No runs on 7 hits for the Braves. No runs on 6 hits for Minnesota. Both sides have been flawless in the field. We've seen some great defense on both sides. Here's the set. The lefty's pitch. Taken inside low is 1 ball, 1 strike. On deck, it's Brian Harper and then Shane Mack. Stanton looks into Greg Olson. Picks out a sign and stretches. The 1-1 home. Swung on and missed. A mighty cut by Davis to make it 1-2.
He has made 3 great pitches to Davis. The first one a fastball inside to tie him up. The second a breaking ball in the same spot. Tried to get him to go fishing. And right back in there again with another good fastball. You don't want to let Davis extend his arms here. Power hitters like to stretch out, extend. That's how they generate the power to hit it out of the park.
Stanton trying to cool down Chile. The pitch popped it up on a play. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Crowd 55,118. And those in the nether regions of the Metrodome are straining to see. And I think a good many of them straining to breathe, too. We sit up there in the auxiliary press box in between innings when we're not working, and it is up there. You need one of those oxygen tents about halfway up if you're sitting near the Teflon roof.
There is something very important taking place right now. Tom Kelly is saying, we're either going to win it here or Jack Morris is going to go back out with a chance to win it himself. Nobody throwing in the bullpen.
The pitch outside. Count even 2-2. Well, then you're really taking your chances as sharp as Morris has been. He's 36 years old. He's pitching for the 3rd time in 9 days and in the 7th game of the World Series, no less, and you're going to run him back out there for a 10th inning. And he's thrown a fair number of pitches, too. Although, in fairness to Morris, it looks like he's actually gotten a little stronger as the game's gone on. The stretch and the 2-2 home. There's a looper off to the right, well into the crowd again. Chili Davis fights off a good pitch. Davis with a couple of home runs in this series. He hit one here, hit one in Atlanta. And how inviting to him. A 343-foot sign down the line and left. Must look now. Might be tough to hit that mark with a left-hander who throws as hard as Stanton. He's stretching in his 2-2 pitch. Fly down the right field line. Hit deep but foul. Still 2-2, and this battle goes on. Ryan Harper, the on-deck hitter. The Braves and Twins. Each dugout very tense. Nobody talking down there. Nobody joking. They're afraid to breathe. Base is empty. Nobody out. The 2-2 to Davis. Fouled away again off to the right side. These two are going after each other. This is everything you would want in a World Series and everything you had come to expect from these two teams in the 7th game. Nothing in the last of the 9th. Davis measures his bat. In on the right side. The power-hitting switch hitter. Waits at home. And here's the 2-2. Line drive headed for right center field. That's going to fall in. Might be extra bases. Justice cuts it off in the alley. Davis takes a wide turn at first. But he'll go back and hold there. He's got himself a single. The winning run is aboard in the last of the 9th as Davis bangs a single. And before Harper hits, we pause for station identification on AM 750 WSB.
Wake up to Atlanta's morning news. Scott Slade and the news, weather, and traffic team help you start your day informed. AM 750 WSB, Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic station. Depend on it.
Harper, the batter, he has singled, flied out deep to right field, and bounced out to third. 1 for 3. He's having a fine series, batting .350, and another contact hitter, Don, who is dangerous.
And Tom Kelly has gone to his bench. He's taken Davis out. Jarvis Brown, their designated base stealer, base runner, pinch runner, has come on to run for Davis. And the contact hitter there, a number of things Tom Kelly can do, as we've seen him do already.
Mike Stanton will throw to first, and Brown skips in safely. Runner on at first. Nobody out. Last half of the 9th inning. Braves and Twins in a 0-0 knot. You get the feeling whoever scores first wins. Throw to first base, and again he's in safely, but it looked like Brown was a little fooled by that move. He hesitated before diving back in. The home team has won 23 of the last 29 World Series games. Atlanta trying to put a stake in that number. Harper turned to punt, but took a pitch high that almost got by Greg Olson. And he was clearly crossed up with Mike Stanton. Greg not expecting that sailing fastball. The count 1-0. Harper has been the man, and I think if Minnesota wins the title, he's got a great shot at the MVP with the series he's having and the plays he's made. Right-hand hitter with some pop. He hit 10 homers during the season. Here's the stretch and pitch on. He swings and misses a high fastball. And it's 1-1. He swung so hard he went down on a knee. Bream with a chat on the mound with Stanton. Heads back to first. Harper finally threw out a base stealer last night. He got Keith Mitchell in the 11th. That one was big. The Braves had gone 5 for 5 stealing off him before that. He's turning to bunt and does down the first base. I gets by the mound. Stanton has to chase it. Everybody's safe. He was just trying to sacrifice, but he got a base hit. Harper with a bunt single. Stanton came in and broke toward the third base line. The ball bounced by the right side of the mound, and Mike Stanton is hurt. Mike Stanton may have pulled a muscle. As he was racing after that ball, he had to turn his back on home plate and run towards second base to try to field that grounder. And he is down on his knees. I don't think Mike Stanton's going to be able to continue.
Now, he's obviously in pain. That bunt right in the right spot from the center of the pitching mound to first base is the first baseman's responsibility. That one right on by Sid Bream. He assumed Stanton was going to get it. As we watch the replay, as Stanton stopped and put on brakes around the second base area, you could see him start limping there. So it's not sure if it's a turn or a pull, but he's going to have to be helped off the field, Dave.
Mike Stanton being helped off the field by Jeff Porter, the club trainer. There's some help here with Mike Heath coming out to meet them. And Alejandro Pena, who was not going to pitch in this situation, has to come on now. And Mike Stanton cannot continue. Here in the ninth inning, he allows the base hit by Chili Davis and the bunt hit by Brian Harper. Runners will be in first and second. Nobody out. And Pena on to do the pitching. So that's your pitching change for Atlanta. The new pitcher, right-hander Al Pena. Atlanta Braves have put their hopes for a world championship squarely on the shoulders of Alejandro Pena, because Mike Stanton has left the game with an injury. Pena has been the Iceman. He needs to freeze them right now with Shane Mack hitting. Nobody out in the last of the ninth. The Twins have runners at first and at second. And the batter would be Shane Mack. And what a spot to come into, Don. Pena not anticipating pitching maybe right now to this hitter, but he has to come in quickly. Luckily, he had been warming up, of course, and had been prepared to come in.
Well, it's a plus for Tom Kelly, too, because now, let's say he wants to lay down a bunt with Shane Mack and move him along. He would have had to make a move with Pagliarulo. If the lefty had stayed out there, he would have to burn one more man off his roster. But in watching him and in remembering him from days in the American League, he is the kind of manager that if he gets to the situation like this, he's holding nothing back in reserve. He is going to go for it now. And he says, his thinking is, if I have to play the 10th, I'll play the 10th with what I have left. Remember, that's how he managed down in Atlanta in the ballgame that he lost down there when he depleted his roster.
Here's the set and the pitch. He's squaring to bunt and fouls one down the first base side for strike one. Jarvis Brown is the runner at second. He's the only man who matters in Al Pena's universe at the moment. Nobody out. Pagliarulo, the on-deck hitter. Harper at first, Brown at second. Al Pena, so calm and cool in the National League Championship. Nailing down to Steve Avery, 1-0 wins. Can he do it again here? He sets and fires. There's a bouncing ball right side. Fielded by Lemke. Turns, fires to second. Got one. Back to first. Got the double play. Two men out. Brown up to third. What a terrific job of turning the double play by Mark Lemke. And when Bobby Cox tells the national media, I've never seen anyone better at turning the twin kill like that than Mark Lemke, he's not kidding. That was gorgeous.
Mark Lemke's going to have to double-deck his bandwagon, because there are a lot of us who want to jump on that statement and throw a couple of accolades toward Belliard, too, because he got upended at second by Harper, but he still had the presence of mind to unload. Bobby Cox is probably going to walk Pagliarulo and give Pena the chance to face Newman. You remember earlier in the ball game, Bush pinch hit for Gagne. So Gagne and Bush are both gone, and it'll be Newman unless he decides to go to his bench again.
Well, he's got Kent Merker, the left-hander, throwing in the bullpen. He also has Jim Clancy. Newman on deck, and Pagliarulo will be intentionally walked. Here's ball one.
And Mo will be committed tomorrow.
In his own little rubber room.
Mo Mintham has gone nuts.
You better believe it. The Twins still have the game-winning run at third base. But now there are 2 out thanks to Mark Lemke and the double play. There's ball 2 outside to Pagliarulo. And here comes ball 3. And now Sorrento has grabbed a bat. And the left-hand hitting first baseman is going to come up and bat here. And we'll see what Bobby Cox elects to do. There's ball 4, and down to first goes Pagliarulo, intentionally walked. They're on the corners now with 2 out. And Paul Sorrento swinging a bat in the on-deck circle.
Well, your choice you're going to have to make right here. If you bring in the left-hander, you're going to see Scott Leas, more experienced, better hitter. If you leave the right-hander out there, Sorrento is the guy you're going to see. Sorrento 4 home runs this year, 2 of them as a pinch hitter. How'd you like to have 90 days in the big leagues and a chance to bust open a World Series game?
And to win a world title for your team. He's only been up 47 times. That was during the regular season. A couple of times here in the World Series. He hit .308 at Portland in 113 games with 13 homers. So he has some power.
Strikes out 1 out of every 4 times up historically.
And he hits now. Big left-hand hitter.
And if Pagliarulo wants to run, he can have it. They're not holding him at first, and don't expect Olson to even come out of the crouch if he takes off.
Al Pena comes set. Eyes the runner at third and fires. Swung on and missed for strike 1. Can your blood pressure take another one of these? Nothing. Last half of the 9th inning. World Series Game 7. This is for it all. And we have no score. 2 out and 2 on for Minnesota. Jarvis Brown is 90 feet away at third. And the 0-1 pitch to Sorrento. Fouled it back. And it's 0-2. I'm sure Sorrento, as an 8-year-old, dreamed of exactly this spot. A chance to swing the bat once and win a world championship in the major leagues. That's what he has before him. But Pena has dug him into a hole. It's 0-2. And there are 2 out. The Iceman trying to finish him off. Pena went to the rosin bag. Stares at the baseball. Rolls it over and over in his hand. The big left-hand hitter climbs back in. Pena stares down the chute. Gets his sign from Olson. He comes set. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled away upstairs. Pagliarulo was running, but nobody cares.
Book on Sorrento is he's a low fastball hitter, as most left-hander hitters are. What Olson and Pena are trying to do is go up the ladder with the fastball. They got him to chase one there, but I'll bet you it was about 6 inches lower than they wanted it. I mean, you're a kid in the World Series. You've got to be wanting to swing at anything close. If they could get something about cap bill high, they got a chance of throwing it right on by him.
Pena will take another shot here. It's 0-2. Runners lead at first and third. Here comes the pitch. Fouled back another one. And it was high around his Adam's apple, but he couldn't hit it fair. I'm telling you, this will make old men out of all of us and old people out of fans in Atlanta if it already hasn't. We're all going to need about 6 weeks off when this game finally ends. Pena stretches, checks Brown off third. And the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. And they leave the winning run at third. And guess what? We're going to extra innings again. We have now played 9 in the 7th game of the 91 World Series.
Years for this. I think it's only appropriate that your partner of 16 years slide in and you guys win it here in the 10th inning. Here's Pete Van Wieren.
Okay, thank you, Don. How you holding up, Atlanta? Isn't this incredible? Jeff Blauser on the pinch hit for Rafael Belliard here in the 10th inning. Blauser 1 for 5 in the World Series. Still no score. Jack Morris still out there. Scott Leyes is the new shortstop. The first pitch to Blauser is popped straight up in foul territory. Behind the plate, Harper can't find it. Now he does and makes the catch right in front of the screen. He totally lost that ball for just an instant. But then got some help from his teammates. Third baseman Mike Pagliarulo and pitcher Jack Morris found it again and made the catch with a last-minute spurt. One down. And that'll bring up Lonnie Smith. Skip, I just don't believe this series.
It's been amazing. It doesn't remind you much of 1976, our first year, does it?
Doesn't remind you much of 1990 either.
No.
Just 1 year ago. Here's Lonnie. Lonnie 2 for 3, a walk and a fly to right. He tried to stop his swing and couldn't with a count 0-1.
Meanwhile, this Jack Morris has been absolutely sensational. You got to tip your hat to him.
You rarely see a starting pitcher go into extra innings even during a regular season game, much less the 7th game of a World Series. The next pitch to Lonnie is taken high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Terry Pendleton is on deck. In the bottom half of the 10th inning, the Twins will have the top of their order. Gladden, Knobloch, and Puckett hitting. One out, bases empty, a count of 1-1 on Lonnie Smith. Rick Aguilera up again in the Minnesota bullpen. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Lonnie. Hit foul down the third base side. It's 1-2. The World Series that will not end. 10th inning of Game 7, still scoreless. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. It bounces by everybody. 2-2. I think Monday in Atlanta ought to be declared a legal holiday.
I think a lot of people are going to declare it themselves, like it or not.
2-2 to Lonnie Smith. 1 man out. No runs, 7 hits for Atlanta. No runs, 8 hits for Minnesota. Top half of the 10th inning. The wind by Jack Morris and a 2-2 pitch on the way to Lonnie Smith. He swings and misses, strike 3. Strikeout number 8 for Jack Morris. He's now retired 6 in a row, and here comes Terry Pendleton. He is grounded out to first, fly to left, popped to short, and doubled. That double came in the 8th inning. The Braves had the bases loaded, 1 man out, but Sid Bream hit into a first to home to first double play to end it. Here's the wind by Morris. The pitch on the way to Pendleton. A changeup. Misses low. Ball 1. The official word on Mike Stanton. He pulled a muscle on his left side, in the back of his left side. Ronnie Gadd in the on-deck circle. 2 outs. Bases empty. 1-0. The count on Pendleton. The wind by Morris, the 1-0 pitch, bouncing ball slowly out to short, fielded by Leyes. His throw on to first is in time, and Morris has done it again. The Braves go 1-2-3 in the 10th. We continue to play into the night here at the Metrodome. Bottom half of the 10th inning coming up, still no score.
Tell me, sir.
Alejandro Pena set to go to the work in the bottom half of the 10th inning. Dan Gladden, Chuck Knobloch, Kirby Puckett due up. No score. Gladden will lead it off. He is 2 for 4. He has a double, a single, a strikeout, and a fly to center field. Into the windup is Pena. The pitch on the way to Dan Gladden. He swings, broken bat, pop fly, shallow left center field, coming hard. Hunter, he's not going to get to it. Bounces over his head, but Ronnie Gantz there to back up, trying for two. Gladden throw to second, not in time. A leadoff double for Dan Gladden to start the bottom half of the 10th inning, and the Braves are going to have to try to work their way out of it again. Gladden's third hit, second double of this game. Hit number 9 for Minnesota.
And just some bad pitching luck there for Pena. He made a good pitch right in on his hands, jammed him, shattered the bat. But he got just enough of it, and Gladden actually got second base by the way he ran to first, and he never hesitated.
Now Chuck Knobloch will be the hitter. He is 1 for 4 and a single in the 8th inning. The Braves got out of a mess, bases loaded, 1 out in the 8th, when Ken Herbeck lined into a double play. The Twins got their first 2 hitters on at first and second in the 9th inning. Shane Mack grounded into a double play. Pagliarulo walked. And then Paul Sereno struck out. Now a leadoff double in the bottom of the 10th by Dan Gladden. Can the Braves get out of it one more time? Kendall comes in case of a bunt. So does Sid Bream. Gladden down at second. Knobloch is flied out 3 times, twice to right, once to center. He's also single to right field. Hitting .308 in the series. 8 hits and 26 at-bats. Here's the stretch by Pena. And the pitch on the way to Knobloch. He squares, pulls back. The pitch is high, ball 1, and Kent Merker gets up in the Atlanta bullpen along with Jim Clancy.
If they get the runner to third, you figure the Braves would walk Puckett and Herbeck.
Billy Davis, remember, was pinch run for. Jarvis Brown right now is the designated hitter, but they would certainly pinch hit for him. Here's the look back. The pitch on the way. Pulled the bat back. Took a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike on Knobloch. Third extra inning game of this World Series. 4 of these World Series games have been decided by 1 run already.
They have Larkin and Ortiz left as pinch hitters other than pitchers, and that's it.
1-1 to Knobloch. Nobody out. Dan Gladden down at second. Here's the stretch by Pena. And the 1-1 pitch to Knobloch. Again, he squares, gets the bunt down the third base side. Pendleton field, throws out to first. Lemke covering in time, but over to third goes Dan Gladden. 5-4 sacrifice gets the World Series winning run to third base with 1 man out. The batter will be Kirby Puckett. It would be nonsense to pitch to him. Meeting on the mound, Greg Olson goes out. He's gotten his instructions from the Braves dugout, manager Bobby Cox. Kirby Puckett has bounced to the pitcher. He has struck out. An unintentional walk in the 6th inning, an intentional walk in the 8th. A runner at third and 1 out. The outfield being motioned to come in. Hunter moves way in and left. Gant likewise in center. Justice likewise in right. They're going to walk Puckett. So there will be runners at first and third. With 1 out for Kent Herbeck. They may walk him too.
They probably will. Of course, that puts you in that no margin for error situation. Sometimes you, after you intentionally walk a couple, you unintentionally walk one. If that happens, it's history.
Here comes ball 3, intentionally wide to Kirby Puckett. Ooh, he almost threw that one over Olson's head. And he almost threw it over the plate. And now ball 4 to Puckett. He will go down to first. Runners will be at first and third, and Kent Herbeck will be the hitter. Herbeck 0 for 3 tonight. Was hit by a pitch back in the 4th inning. Lined into that double play. Second baseman unassisted. which ended the 8th inning. Before he steps in, we'll pause for station identification. You're listening to Braves Baseball on AM 750 WSB.
Start every day with Atlanta's morning news. Clear, concise, and to the point. Weekday mornings on AM 750 WSB. Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic station. Depend on it.
They are going to walk Herbeck intentionally. This will load the bases. Herbeck will be at first, Puckett down at second, but the only guy that really matters is Dan Gladden at third. If he scores, the World Series is over. And Gene Larkin will become the designated hitter now as he steps in to hit. Larkin, during the regular season, hit .286 with a couple of home runs and 19 RBIs. In this World Series, he is 1 for 3.
He doesn't strike out much. He doesn't possess great running speed. If you get a ground ball out of him, Braves can turn another one over here.
Well, now everybody's going to come in. The infield will play in all the way around. The outfield will play as shallow as an outfield will ever play. It's a deep fly ball. It's over anyway. Leo Mazzoni will now come out to have a word with Alejandro Pena. Merker and Clancy ready if needed out in the Atlanta bullpen. And the batter will be Gene Larkin. Larkin's a switch hitter. He'll bat lefty against Pena. One man out, bases loaded, scoreless game, bottom half of the 10th inning in the 7th game of the World Series. Now time call, Terry Pendleton out to say something to left fielder Brian Hunter. That meeting ends. Pendleton returning to his position at third. The infielders checking to see where Bobby Cox wants him to play. They're going to play it about halfway on the left side, it appears.
Tell you what, Hunter is so close. If a ball is hit on the ground into short left field, he'll have a chance to throw a runner out at the plate on a force play.
Pendleton out one more time to meet with Hunter. Sid Bream is in all the way at first. Mark Lemke at second, about 2/3 of the way in. Jeff Blauser about double play depth at short. Terry Pendleton about halfway in at third. The outfield in all the way around. And here's Gene Larkin. Bases loaded, one out. Pena will work from the stretch. And the pitch on the way to Larkin. He swings, sends a fly ball deep to left center field. Hunter going back, looks up. It's going to be over his head. The Minnesota Twins have won the World Series in 10 incredible innings. 1-0. An unbelievable scene here at the Metrodome. Tom Kelly jumping for joy. All of the players out surrounding Gene Larkin, who has touched first base with a fly ball that in any other situation would have been a routine fly caught by the left fielder. But not with the bases loaded and one out in a tie game and extra innings. It took 7 games. It took extra innings in 3 of them. And now we're seeing something we rarely see in a World Series. Terry Pendleton leading a group of Atlanta Braves out to congratulate the Minnesota Twins for a World Series that will forever be remembered. Terry Pendleton out to congratulate the Minnesota Twins. Keith Mitchell has gone out. Ronnie Gant has gone out. Mike Heath has gone out. The Minnesota Twins have won the World Series 4-3, winning Game 7 in 10 innings, 1-0. Well, the Minnesota Twins may have won the World Series, but these Atlanta Braves have won the hearts of baseball with their inspired play during this incredible